Look at them warming those tires up. You know, that sounds kind of funny on a hot, hot day, but you got to figure out how to get your car to go. This is a sprint. We talked about it. You got to be ready on lap 1.
All right, let's get today's race strategy sponsored by USAA. Larry Mack.
Yeah, Mike, I talked about stage 1 being a very short stage, only 45 laps. You don't need any fuel in that stage whatsoever. And you know what? Short run, think about just 2 tires, maybe even fuel only. The first 2 stages, if you can't score stage points and that caution comes out and you're going to go back racing, flip the stage, pit, and then stay out at the end of the stage. And you know what, guys? If you're running up front near the end of the race, say maybe 60 laps to go, and you can make it on fuel, pack the pit equipment up. We are not coming back. Track position.
Sellout crowd for the 3rd week in a row. North Wilkesboro, the All-Star race. Charlotte, the 600, the grandstand and infield sold out, and every ticket sold.
On their feet, Mikey. I like it. What a cool event. They have been promoting this event. Concerts going on. These fans they've already had a good show, and the show's just starting.
The good stuff is about to get going.
Drag race down into this tight turn 1. It's always a difficult challenge getting these cars slowed down and going back the other way.
240 laps on 1.25 miles, where turns 3 and 4 have a 100-foot wider radius than turns 1 and 2. Green flag, and the Enjoy Illinois 300 is underway.
Or just you 2 by 2 door.
Man, he almost had him clear off it too. Talking about Kyle Busch. Here comes Blaney on that outside, still holding strong.
Just make a note of that, whether the outside takes advantage of the start or the inside, because that could play implications later when we have these restarts.
Blaney with the drive off turn number 4, back to the line, side by side, even up. Blaney by a foot leads lap 1.
Sets up a good conversation for later, just like you said, Mikey. That inside line only lasts if it's good on the. If you come off at 2, not in the lead, you're in trouble.
Back of the pack, Corey LaJoie has lost touch and around goes the 45 of Tyler Reddick.
Get it rolling. Let us know what you got.
Not much damage that I see.
He was 11th going into turn 1. Something wrong with LaJoie, who dropped to the back of the pack before he got to turn number 1 and is now caught up to the field under caution.
Right there up on the right hand of the screen. Looks like, I think that's Keselowski who's trying to get underneath him. Stenhouse Jr. tried to get off him, tried to stay off of him. Mikey spun himself around. No harm, no foul, though. I don't see a lot of damage.
First caution of the day comes very early. working the first caution of the day. This was Carson Hocevar's view of the Tyler Reddick spin down in turn number 1. Reddick has since stopped a second time just to check that everything is okay on the left side. Corey LaJoie reported to his crew that the master switch went off and had to be recycled. Jamie, everything okay now?
That's exactly what we were told. He hit the kill switch by accident, so it shut off. So he got behind everybody at that point, but they feel like everything is good. He came down pit road. Everything else good with the car. In the 45, Tyler Reddick came down for new tires as well. He got into the back of the 47 and it ripped the wheel out of his hand.
$1 in a tip jar. I called that Bubba spun out. Bubba did not spin out.
No, it was Tyler.
It was Tyler Reddick.
He's the one I couldn't find on the grid.
McDonald's got me. I was looking at them fries on the side of it. I like that paint scheme this week.
I do too.
All right, 5 laps complete under caution for Tyler Reddick's spin down in turn 1.
In, my car kind of took off. And I was able to start picking people off.
Here comes Kyle Larson out of nowhere. A handful of laps ago, he was 10th.
Once it got like shiny, slick, and you could run the fence, run the middle in 3 and 4, and do some different things, I really was able to go forward.
Kyle Larson slides up into the 4th spot. Brett Marks starting to slip away as, boy, things getting interesting.
You know, I thought we were going to have a really good shot to win.
This is a really exciting series, and the next episode of Dirt, the Last Great American Sport, airs Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. NASCAR has been made aware of lightning strikes within 5 miles of the racetrack. Some of those big puffy clouds have rain and lightning in them. Drivers have been advised that they are able to get out of their cars if they wish during this delay, which we hope will be a brief one. You know, we have the vortex theory to scare away rain. Why wouldn't this scare away lightning? All that pyro on the back straightaway.
So cool. We've talked about it endlessly, but the event and the fun that the folks have that get to come out to this beautiful facility here just across the river from St. Louis.
I mean, even the anthem, a world-class singer backed up by a symphony orchestra. Very, very cool.
I like Fire's pretty cool.
I'm kind of jealous of that guy that got to pull the trigger on that back there.
I can see that
You
in
know,
you.
right? Everybody's got a little pyro.
No, we call this track St. Louis because we're in Madison, Illinois, across the big muddy, the big river. But we are closer to the Gateway Arch than Charlotte Motor Speedway is to Uptown Charlotte. It's in Concord, North Carolina. So we can't show you the Gateway Arch because that shot would be from the roof, and our cameramen have taken a position of safety. You see the cameras all locked down up on the roof, again because of lightning in the area. This is a very unique racetrack. We talk about it as kind of like Darlington, maybe kind of like New Hampshire, kind of like Phoenix, but really it's a racetrack all unto itself based on the available footprint here of this piece of land.
Well, there you see it. Long drag race right here down the front straightaway. Tight radius through 1 and 2. Very, very tight. Downshift 4th, downshift 3rd, and then right back from 4th to 5th down that back straightaway, Mike.
And then when you get to 3 and 4, Mike, it gets wildly different. A big sweeping corner, and we head to pit road, and we get there, the narrowest pit road in all of NASCAR. Charlotte's pit road's 38 feet wide. This is nearly half that at 22 feet wide.
Wow.
So challenges are not only on the track, but when you come to pit road, where there'll be contact sometimes throughout this day, I'm sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
So of all the tracks that I just mentioned, Darlington, New Hampshire, Phoenix, does this race like any of them?
I think if anything, maybe Phoenix a little bit, the old Phoenix for sure. But the short answer is no. I think the drivers are going to work harder today on this racetrack than they do anywhere else.
I think the old Clint answer is,
maybe. Look at that sharp exit off turn 2.
I think, you know, just again, those long straightaways entice you to drive into the corner too long. You heard from Kyle Larson, one of the NASCAR's best, right? He said he was overdriving the corner. Corey LaJoie filling in for Chase Elliott. He also said very easy, and he needed to back his corners up, slow this place down. It draws you in to overdrive it.
And as we get going, Mike, that 3 and 4 is going to widen out. You're going to see guys trying to diamond the corner, running up high and then shooting down low off the track.
All right, a nice breeze despite the 90-degree heat and lightning in the area. So we'll take a break here from St. Louis and the Charlotte studio. We'll speak to you the other side of this break. An hour and 37 minutes ago, we were racing for half a lap. Tyler Reddick turned it around, brought out the caution flag on lap 1. And red flag for lightning in the area. There was a big rainstorm that came up the river to downtown St. Louis, but now drivers have been called to their cars after a great game of football in the grandstand, after a successful episode of AMR cell phone finders. We're ready to go racing once again. 5 laps complete at the time of the red flag. And on a 90-degree day, and again, as you see these drivers get ready, note that this is the first year where the use of a balaclava or head sock and flame-proof underwear, in addition to the fire suit, is required. So if you thought it was hot when you raced, it's a whole lot hotter now.
And I was talking to Joey Logano. He said all the work they're doing, the shifting and the intense heat and the way these cars are designed for no air to get inside, it's a day's work. And the cloud cover helps, but it doesn't fix everything, Mike.
I was going to say the cloud cover kind of helped us a little bit mask some of this heat that these drivers are going to endure. But I still think this track's going to be hot and slick. I think that's going to play a role in this. I think it's going to widen out because of that, which is a good thing for us. That creates better passing opportunities.
Well, you only have one race here to look back on, but the end of the one last year was amazing with the slide jobs and Kyle Busch racing Joey Logano, them trying to sort it out. And you know, Clint, what happens on a track that's tight and passing is difficult, you're going to have contact. And people are going to lose their temper. This could be part of the day.
Mike. Uh-oh, Mike. Look at it.
Epilogue.
Could it be? Could it be? There it is.
Matt's got it. Matt's got it. That's Casey, the AMR safety. Whoa, watch it, Matt. Don't lose that on the way up here.
He looked about like me running, didn't he?
You're going to get your phone back.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
That's so lucky. That wouldn't have happened without this lightning strike.
Oh.
There's no way our CSI team would have had the time to find that phone for you.
They're all over that.
That is the most expensive find your phone event in the history of phones.
I'm glad we had something to keep us occupied.
Look at this, holding it aloft to the delight of the fans, Matt Pascal, who helps set up and tear down our booth and all the equipment, responsible for all the video here. Barb takes care of the audio, and Matt is apparently not camera shy, says our director, Artie Kempner.
He's going a lap down, getting up the stairs, though. You were way faster there, Mike.
There's 107 of those steps up from the track.
Yes, they are. Kyle Larson at the ready.
Matt's picking up the pace.
Oh, there he goes.
He is jogging up those steps.
Back on the lead lap now, baby. Yes. Yes. Wait a minute, you said 100.
And the crowd goes wild.
49 on it.
That's 2.
That's row 49.
The numbers don't lie.
Neither does SMT.
All right, 5 laps complete. Kyle Busch, the pole sitter, leading Ryan Blaney, the outside pole sitter. Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, Kevin Harvick.
I like you said that pole sitter. We saw it.
And he's got it.
How about it? There it is.
Look at that. There's Miss Macy.
It is. Look like the Rock hit it right there.
Well, you know, and that's not cracked.
Yes, it is. It's cracked right there.
Oh, is that a crack?
Yeah, it's a crack.
That's minor, Mike.
Oh, yeah, you're screwed.
Both of you need readers to see anything anymore. It's definitely a crack. But I want to go back to the pole sitter. You know, he took the inside, Mike. That was almost a bad idea. You think he'll make a different change?
I think he'll go outside. We saw in the truck race yesterday, the leader always took the high side and took the lead as a result of that. I think it's just too hard to make momentum down on the bottom if that guy on the outside can match your start. Kyle got a great launch. It wasn't that. Blaney was just able to get up there on the outside.
And it was oh so close off of 2. I think that's the key. If you get the launch and you get down there and get clear, that's obviously the right play. If you don't and you come off of 2 and he's hanging on your right quarter, you're in trouble.
Yesterday, Kyle Busch won the pole here, and of course the way we qualify is an A and B group, the fastest 5 in each. 10 cars run for the pole. They had a thing happen at Bathurst in Australia that they called Lap of the Gods. Well, this might be the 1.25 mile equivalent of it right here. Yesterday in pole qualifying, Kyle sent that car into the corner, got it to stick, and got it off the corner.
You know what I loved about that? You saw him, he was all smiles after that lap. That's when, as a driver, you make a lap and you say, if you can beat that one, you can have it. I did my job perfectly. That's all I had in me, and it resulted in the pole.
And I think you nailed it, Mike. He drove that car so far off into the corner. We watched fastest pole since 2019, by the way. But when he got off in the corner that far, I was like, there's no way it sticks. But he got that baby to not only stick, get rotated back to the throttle. Very fast lap.
Yeah, that was one for the ages right there.
And all right, so then you set this race up, you know, after practice with the 12 car, the 11 car. Those two were by far the fastest on the long run. But you put Kyle Busch in front of them, that changes the game. I don't care how fast their cars are.
And it was Greg Murphy in Australia who did the Lap of the Gods at Bathurst. And yeah, that was one of them right here yesterday.
You know that, Mikey?
I did not know that, but I do know
Australia's supercars.
DW took a lap at Bathurst once.
Yes, he did.
And he said it was amazing, and it was a geographical anomaly.
It was Brad Jones' race team. Jason Bright was the driver.
Yeah.
And Darrell says, I've never been around here. I want to, I'd like to take a recon lap. Well, what Darrell didn't know was the team had changed the gear and they wanted to see. It wasn't a recon lap. He was flat out the 3 laps with Darrell in the car. It was kind of like an extra test session to give DW a little recon. So we could have a name for that, but
kind of hard to check your emotions again. All right, we got out there, we made 1 lap, pulled the belts off, get out of the cars, go back to the motor home, eat potato chips on the couch. Now I got to get back in this thing and get aggressive. A lot of times that's exactly what you see after a rain delay. A lot of aggression.
You know, we talked about the front of the field, Busch, Blaney, and Hamlin, how fast they are. I'm going to have my eye on the back of the field. Corey LaJoie with that issue on the start, and Tyler Reddick spinning around. These are 2 really good cars, and Reddick, I think he's going to just slice through this field. So got a lot going on at the front and the back, and that's a lot of fun.
Well, and LaJoie, we talked about it. He actually hit the kill switch while he was shifting. These are all just nervous, right? There's nothing but nerves in there. This gives him a chance to reset. Starting at the back of the field takes all the pressure off. Go back out there, do what you do best, and get this 9 car where it's capable of running.
So there's always the rest of the story. Brody Kostecki, and Will Brown, the 2 leading drivers in the Australian Supercar Series, are here today. Guests of Richard Childress Racing.
That's awesome.
How did you piece that together?
Pam Miller in my left ear.
Yep.
There you go.
She
And you got to watch the video of Darrell riding along.
Oh, it's on YouTube and it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yep, DW at Bathurst.
Oh, is that where he was? That's
Screaming.
where he was
Oh, yeah.
screaming
Yeah.
and let me out of this thing.
Yeah. Man, it was good seeing him at North Wilkesboro. Glad
at
he was
It
up
really
there.
was, and great to have him with us.
Big
on the
smiles.
They
broadcast.
just found it. We're on camera. Love it. A lot of fans here today. Fantastic event. These guys, hats off to the whole track crew. What a good job promoting this event.
All right, we are back to yellow after a rain delay of 1 hour and 45 minutes, and 1 cell phone recovery. We're going racing when we come back. Promise. Welcome back to the NASCAR Cup Series just outside of St. Louis. The cars are rolling, 6 laps complete, and we are just about ready to go racing. So stock up for race day and grab an ice cold Busch Light. All right, looks like the one to go sign coming right here. And Kyle Busch, the race leader, chooses the outside. Let's check with Regan Smith.
Well, Mike, during that red flag, Denny Hamlin's front changer, A.J. Rosini, they had an air regulator break on pit road. When the air regulator broke, the hose hit him in the face, knocked out half of his canine. He's got between 8 and 12 stitches in his lip right now. You see it right there. He's going to play through the pain, though. He's ready to go.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
These guys are tough. You don't jump over the wall in front of a race car if you're not tough. You got to be mentally ready for this game.
But taking an air regulator at him.
Ouch.
That's beautiful.
She's ready.
I love it when folks bring their kids to the track, and even more when they have hearing protection for those youngsters. Well done.
I love that Kyle Busch took the outside. That's what you wanted there.
Yeah, I like that move. I think that's going to be the trend for most of the day. All the day, I think all the leaders will start up there.
Now, if you don't have a T-shirt to bring to the track, make one. This fan did. NASCAR saw the shot during pre-race, found him, took him down to the concession stand, and gave him a NASCAR shirt.
Bought him a shirt to put on, and he just wore it around his neck.
Awesome.
I still like mine better.
All right, here we come to the Geico restart zone. This will be 8 laps complete when we go back to green after a nearly 2-hour delay for lightning. Green flag.
Half off. 1 off, still inside quarter.
Strong run on the bottom there for Blaney, off 2, Clint.
That's going to be a hard car to keep behind you regardless. I don't care if you're on the bottom or the top. This 12 car means business. Fresh off a win. That car was extremely fast in practice. Truex slipping up a little bit behind them.
Well, Kyle Busch led the first lap, but only by 1 foot. Here they come to the line. And it's going to be Busch by 3/4 of a car length this time, but Blaney is right there.
Side by side, all throughout the top 10. Good racing.
Not quite going to get him clear. Still there, still on the outside.
Keep your eye on that black 4th car on the outside. That's Austin Cindric, and he was really good in practice. He's strong early here in the race.
Man, Kyle really got off in the corner very hard into 3, just like he did in qualifying. It might clear him here off of 4. Think he does. All clear. Kyle Busch finally to the lead.
Well, the clouds here have helped. At the initial green flag, the track temperature was 134 degrees. It's now down to 106. Joey Logano side by side with Harvick. 5th place.
2 to the 2, who is clear. 1.
5th place and no give with Cindric right behind them.
Willie B trying the outside too, back behind Cindric in that beautiful number 24 car.
Yep, Byron against Chastain. That'll be 8th place.
Look at those last 3 finishes for the 24 of William Byron. These guys have been on a roll.
Man, Kevin flirting with that outside wall, wasn't he?
So was Byron. He was close off there.
Such a drag race down these long corners. Trying to edge one another out, getting into the corner. Speaking or just edge them out in the corner. Joey Logano leaning on Kevin Harvick off of 4.
Little contact there. I think on corner exit is where you're going to see most of the problems of cars pushing up like we've seen recently, getting tight and into the outside car. That's what happened there with Joey off turn 4.
Chastain clears Byron and goes after Cindric right behind them.
You see them squirting that fuel, trying to jockey for position through the middle of the corner. That 3 and 4 is such a wide sweeping corner.
Look at how far.
Try to just gain a little bit of an advantage on them.
Did you see Joey dive all the way to the bottom of the straightaway just to try to get that aero advantage away from Harvick?
What that did, though, was open up the gap between the 3 leaders and this group, or 4 leaders and this group racing for 5th.
Yeah, just look at the gap in front of these cars. That's a great point, Mike. Look how slow 2 cars run and stalling out everybody behind them. They're stacking up behind them as well.
You know who I think realized
got
that?
it sorted out.
I think Harvick. Harvick said, this isn't working. I'm going to get behind him. Maybe we can catch back up to the leaders.
That's right. He sees them getting smaller. He sees everybody else getting bigger in the mirror. Eventually, you got to sort that out.
Kyle Larson has fallen back to 27th from 22nd starting spot. Thanks. Denny Hamlin on the march.
Knew this was coming, Mikey. This 11 car, he was very fast in practice, ran more laps than anybody in practice. Very happy with his car when we talked to him in pre-race.
And watch this line he's taking too. He's already looking up top. We talked about trying to use multiple grooves. He was up high in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 last time too, and there he goes again. That's on purpose. He's trying to get some sort of groove up there that works for him, and I think right now he's faster than Blaney.
I think, you know, with the diffusers and all the underbody aero that we talk about with this new car, you have to go where they're not. You have to get completely out of that very defined draft behind the car.
And look, those two gained a 10th on Kyle Busch that lap. Now they get side by side.
That feels good if you're Denny Hamlin, to be up there in that groove where no one else is and being able to make ground like he's doing.
He pulls that off one more time, he'll be able to do a crossover.
Hamlin got a rude reception in driver introductions today from this crowd.
About got into the back of him right there, got on the bottom, lost the nose a little bit, almost hit Blaney.
And you saw what Blaney did there. He heard from his spotter what progress Denny was making up top. He said, I'm going to go up top and take it away from him. And that's exactly what happened.
This is 8th place. William Byron on the inside of Austin Cindric, who has now drifted back a bit.
Yeah, I think of all the Hendrick cars, William was by far the better car in practice. Doesn't surprise me to see him marching up through the field.
Kyle Larson has to be scratching his head. He's running back in the 26th position, and that's just something we don't ever see.
No, we don't. But one thing you will see is they grind it out. Just like last week at the Coke 600, they were not very good. It looked pretty dismal at the beginning of that race, and by the end, hey, look over your shoulder, no Cliff Daniels. They were under the hood of that car making shock adjustments, as a matter of fact, at one time. Reddick coming back up through the field right here.
Remember, Tyler Reddick brought out the caution on the second lap.
That's 9 spots he's up already.
Danny and his daughter at driver introductions, and
Taylor was thinking, what's wrong with these people, Dad? Why are they yelling at you? Dad's running in 3rd spot, kind of falling off of Blaney. Is Blaney picking it up and going after Busch?
Yes, yes, he is.
Well, let's get an update on last year's winner, Joey Logano.
That's right. Joey won this race last year, up 1 spot now. I talked to Joey before the race today, and he said, my car is actually balanced a little bit better than last year. He said, the main difference is how much we are shifting today. He said, we are shifting down to 3rd on both ends of the racetrack. That means we're shifting about 10 times a lap. If you do the math, that's about 2,400 times if they do it every lap, Mike.
And a lot of drivers have said that's exactly what they'd be doing with the gear they're running in the car.
Here he comes.
Now. Yes.
You talked about it, Mikey. Blaney right on the bumper of the leader, Kyle Busch.
Look at that line, swinging out wide.
Just like we saw Hamlin doing. Trying to go where they're not, doing a little bit of a crossover here. Run him down in just a matter of 2 laps.
And left Hamlin behind in doing so. Look at Kyle kind of creeping up the racetrack.
That's exactly right. A little bit of mirror driving there. Saw Blaney gaining on him on that outside. I'll just take that line away from him.
Blaney might be good enough just to dive to the bottom and try to make the move. That's where Kyle goes.
Well, that's the move, right? You try to get them looking in the mirror, get them guessing, and then pounce on it.
It's got to feel good being riding Blaney right now after winning last week, fast this week. These are good times.
23 laps in the books. Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, and Joey Logano, the top 5. 27 laps complete. Kyle Busch managed to hold on to the lead and extended it over Ryan Blaney by 8/10. Here's your Xfinity fastest lap of the race. Blaney, as you saw him catching Kyle Busch, ran his fastest lap. Then Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, Busch the leader, and Joey Logano in 5th have the fastest laps so far. Well, wow. Kyle Larson, boy, he has dropped back. Carson Hocevar went past him just a bit ago, and now so has Corey LaJoie. Regan.
That's right, Mike. Kyle back to the 32nd position right now. Spoke to he and Cliff Daniels before the race started earlier. Kyle said a lot of things I'm working on in the race car to get better. Wanted to do that stuff as a driver, but Cliff also said we are going to wholesale this race car to try and help you out. Unfortunately, that's not working right now. The report from the driver, it is on top of the racetrack and way too loose for Kyle Larson right now.
Well, he repasses Corey LaJoie in a one-race substitution for Chase Elliott, who's under suspension. And Kyle Larson, I wouldn't say it's been checkers or wreckers, but look at his season. You talk about highs and lows, there's a bunch of them.
Well, buddy, if you won't say it, I will.
All right.
It's checkers, it's wreckers, it's checkers, it's wreckers. That's checkers or wreckers.
Okay.
This is amazing. Corey LaJoie struggling as well. We talked about Chase Elliott going around him. In fact, Alex Bowman's 20th, and he's the only car that's great today or good today with Hendrick is William Byron up in 7th.
All right, we listened in on the 5. Currently in 31st.
This doesn't do anything good. I just don't have any grip. I don't even know what to tell you.
The loose is more of a problem than the tight, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But I do get tight sometimes in the center.
Tight in the center.
That's the problem. When you're up on top of that racetrack like that, it's just not down in it, not making the grip. It's not a balance issue, it's a grip issue. If you tighten me up, I'm going to be too tight rolling the middle. Yeah. You can't free it up because I'm too tight rolling the middle. That's a hard thing to fix. Maybe an air pressure adjustment across, left sides or something like that. If anybody can fix it, that Cliff Daniels, he's the man for the job.
Jamie?
Corey LaJoie back in 32nd. I talked to his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, and he said, as if there's not enough new things thrown at Corey this week, we did simulation together for this track. We made adjustments on what we thought would be good. We got to the track, and as a company, we were off. Simulation was off on the line that they really want to run in real life, so that put everybody behind the ball. So right now, they're a little edgy in and off, tight center, not real comfortable in that 9 machine.
Hendrick Motorsports' best finish here last year was Larson in 12th.
See a good battle here among the Toyotas. I'm telling you, Clint, that 5 and 9 car could go a lap down before the end of this first stage. I know it's a short stage, but they're losing about a second a lap.
So right, they better get on with it.
12 laps to go in stage 1, which is 45 laps long. Kyle Busch out front as we take you Fox side by side. 38 laps complete. Kyle Busch has begun to lap cars. There are now 3 of them a lap down, Yaley, McLeod, and Gaulding. And we're coming up to pit stops, which will be good news for Kyle Busch. But Larry Mack, Ryan Blaney, who is running second, is not going to have an easy time of it on pit road.
Yeah, because he failed inspection multiple times. He lost pit selection. He's pitting about a fourth of the way on the pit road, and he's going to have to deal with Brad Keselowski in that 6 car. Let me tell you what everybody's going to have to deal with. We've already set up how narrow this pit road is, only 22 feet, barely wide enough for 2 drivers to run by side. I think we'll see some right side tires only at the end of this stage, and they're going to be pulling out as other cars are pulling in all over the top of each other.
Hey, you're right on the 6. I think Keselowski's going a lap down. He's got trouble. He's either down a cylinder right in front of your leader going a lap down right here, or he can't shift something with the transaxle. He's got trouble. There's your leader going around him. Very slow down the straightaways.
Brad Kay making his 500th career start for what is now RFK Racing. And
he had a tire issue in practice with the left rear.
Yep.
Didn't really know what it was. I don't know if he's not feeling something, but definitely Keselowski in the 6 having trouble.
But as Larry pointed out, that will be a benefit to Ryan Blaney.
Absolutely.
Because it means Keselowski can't pit with the lead lap cars, and Blaney will have an easy exit with nobody right in front of him.
That's why I was trying to get that out as soon as I could. I knew we were running out of time, and I saw Busch catching him. That's huge for Blaney.
Blaney and Hamlin, second, third. And Ty Dillon just going a lap down, who's pitted right in front of Blaney as well.
That's all working out good for Blaney, considering how bad it looked at the beginning.
So when you lose pit selection, as Blaney and Keselowski did for multiple inspection failures, you don't get the last pits left at the end of after everybody chooses. NASCAR assigns those 2 cars a pit stall, and then everybody makes their picks.
Blaney, that 6 having trouble is the best thing. That's clear in, clear out for him. Both of them are a lap down.
Jamie, what about Brad?
Well, you just saw his crew chief, Matt McCall, came off the pit box and he talked to the Roush Yates engines people. And I asked him, do you have an engine issue? He said, I don't know what's going on, but something is wrong with Keselowski's car.
Shame.
It's down the straightaways. If Larry says he's not shifting, which he said he's shifting, all things look fine.
Nothing coming here.
She's definitely sick under the hood.
What about that 19 car of Martin Truex? He was able to run down Denny Hamlin in some of that lap traffic. He's been one of the fastest cars on the track here over the last 5 or 6 laps.
Final lap of this stage. Big win for Kyle Busch. A lot of points here, a lot of playoff points.
Ryan Preece just ahead, trying to stay on the lead lap as stage 1 comes to a close here. Kyle Busch looking for his first stage win of this season. And there's the green and white checkered flag. Kyle Busch, stage 1 winner. Blaney second, Hamlin third, Truex, Logano. Stage points also to Harvick, Byron, Chastain, Cindric, and Suarez. At the end of stage one, Kyle Busch is leading here in St. Louis. Time for our Credit One Bank ones to watch. Clint, who you got your eye on?
Ones to watch. My man spins out in the first corner, up 18 spots to 18th. Tyler Reddick is a man in the move.
Michael.
I like that, Clint, but I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. led 42 laps here a year ago, and that car came to life at the end of that green flag run. He was really fast. I think Martin Truex Jr. gets the win today, or I'm going to watch him closely anyway.
Well, then I guess I've got my eye at the front of the field, where Kyle Busch has led all but one lap today after an unbelievable qualifying lap to win the pole. He's proved that was no fluke. He's been out front almost this entire race. Let's check with the studio.
Yeah, Mike, I've got my eye on the man that won this race a year ago, Joey Logano. In the 9 races since it went in Atlanta, only one top 5, qualified 6. He's running 5th right now. Remember last year, he didn't lead until after lap 200.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit deeper in the field with a driver that's making his first Cup Series start today, Carson Hocevar. He started 26, still running 26. I think his goal today is don't make headlines for the wrong reason.
Well done, Jamie. Those are our Credit One Bank ones to watch. And need I remind you, Kyle Busch has won on 24 Cup tracks. This is not yet one of them.
Pretty low-hanging fruit for our guy there, wasn't it?
I mean, somebody had to take him.
I like Hocevar, though. Great job. He's doing exactly what we talked about.
Yes.
You said it, 90%. You stay at 90%. If he gets a top 20 in that car, that's just what the doctor ordered. That's a job well done. A lot of racing left to do, but so far, so good.
All right, pit road is open. The pit road speed line is in turn number 4, and you have to enter the pits on the back stretch here. That's where the commit box is, so it's a long way around.
And it's a tight pit road. There's going to be a lot. Larry says there might be some 2 tires here, a lot of strategy, and not much real estate to do it all in. Look how tight that is.
Jamie.
And that's right, Boyer just mentioned it. A lot of different strategies can be used here. 2 tires, 4 tires, or no tires. The 22, Joey Logano, little free on exit, gained 1 spot there. Air pressure adjustment, and 4 tires for him. Ryan Blaney, his teammate, wants to be a little freer so he can turn better through the corner. A little tight on throttle, Regan.
Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. It's not too bad right now for him. Needs a little more rear grip and a little bit more turn with the car. And Kyle Busch's car came in just a little bit later than what he would like. A little free at the 80% mark of the corner, meaning the back is stepping out.
All right, here's your race off pit road, sponsored by Ram. And boy, what a busy place that is. Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney holding station. William Byron was lucky to hold his spot because the car entering the pit in front of him was right as he wanted to pull out, so he had a little stutter stop there.
McDowell plus 11, that's probably your 2 tires.
Home to iconic wins for Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and American Pharaoh. The most famous final furlong in the history of racing is coming to Fox. It's the Belmont Stakes, Saturday 4 Eastern, only on Fox. Well, Rusty Wallace led the field on the opening pace lap, and here is youngest brother Kenny dueling it out on the dirt, as he does so often and so well. There goes number 36, the Jags Hot Rod.
That's right here in St. Louis.
Oh, mugging it up for the crowd. Kenny Wallace, can you believe that? Yeah, that's Kenny.
Or Hulk Hogan.
Gateway Dirt Nationals. And Kenny, for the second year in a row, joins us here in the booth. Big fan of this racetrack and everything that has happened here in the past couple of years. How you got to be just so excited to see Cup racing come back here.
I represent St. Louis, Mike, and anything good that comes to our town I love, whether it's the Cardinals, Blues, but to dream that NASCAR comes to my town, that's a dream come true. And by the way, that was inside the dome, that dirt race.
Wow.
In December, so it's a crazy event, and I was doing a little Ric Flair there, having some fun.
Hey, had a little racing last night. A lot of racing in this area. I think I heard you win.
Are you making...
You won last night.
I won last night. Hey, Mike, remember last year we did this?
Yes.
I run second.
Right.
I thought about that last night. I said, I can't run second because Mike LaJoy is going to ask me, how'd you run last night, Herman? We won last night.
I got to ask one question to our producer, director, bosses. How did they let us three get together? What are you thinking, Mike? How are you going to deal with this?
They locked the door. I can't leave. So let's have some fun here with stage number 2. Kenny's going to stay with us. Penalties for Austin Cindric too fast entering pit road and Martin Truex removing the gas can. They will both restart at the rear as they approach the Geico restart zone. Michael McDowell, Harrison Burton, Todd Gilliland each took 2 tires to move up in the order for the restart. Kyle Busch on the outside again. Blaney inside.
Keep an eye on that McDowell. That's him in the third row. Inside. Chastain looking to his inside. 2 tires. Oh, wait him out. I told you, look.
Round he goes. Michael McDowell.
That's him. That was your 2-tire guy. Had Chastain right on the inside of him. Round he goes.
He was in 6th place.
And he can't be too happy about getting punted. You remember what happened on pit road when he took those 2 tires? He pulls right out in front. Watch Joey Logano has to just get on the brakes.
Actually lock the brakes up.
Yeah.
This was Logano's reaction on pit road to what happened there. Yep.
What the heck?
So then you see the gap on the restart, spun his tires a little bit. Chastain was waiting until he got past the start-finish line, goes to the bottom, get off in the corner. Chastain got on the rumble strips just a little bit. I think McDowell kind of squeezed him. That's just a product of being a sitting duck on 2 tires. Didn't get the jump off the restart. Protecting, getting on the inside and gets taken out.
Well, now still, was that contact avoidable?
It was avoidable, but I think
Ross wasn't avoided.
I think Ross Chastain thought he was there and just left it there.
Yeah, and here's the way I look at this. This is like a drag race, okay? You got to have 2 new rear tires on the rear because you're going through the gearbox. And if you only have 1 new right rear, the left rear is going to slip. So you guys are right. What got him wrecked was he didn't get a good start.
Didn't get the good jump.
I mean, you give, it's like Nelson Piquet said, you give me a hole, or Ayrton Senna, Ross Chastain took the hole.
But there was the most telling replay from Ty Gibbs, Monster Energy on board, showing Chastain going down to the rumble strip. The car bounces off the rumble strip and into McDowell.
I think we're going to come down and make some more changes to this 5 car. Saw this last week at Charlotte.
And that paid off. I mean,
yeah, it did.
They fixed that car last week. I don't know if they can fix it today.
Maybe it's fuel. That's Cindric. Here comes. I bet they put 4 tires on that 34.
And Brad Keselowski's made multiple pit stops.
He's got problems under the hood.
What's wrong there? So while several of these cars come in for service, there's evidence of the damage there. Chastain and McDowell get together. Caution waves. Saturday baseball night in America on Fox, and the next chapter in one of sports' biggest rivalries is on the card as Aaron Judge and the Yankees battle the Red Sox, or you'll see the Cubs take on the Giants. All the action is at 7:30 Eastern on Fox. Check for the game in your area. A lot of passionate Cards fans here,
including one in the booth.
Yes, go Cardinals. We're having a rough season though, Mikey. We still believe though. It's not August yet.
58 laps complete as we get ready for this restart. The all-new Toyota Camry TRD leads the field. Lights off on its roof. And it turns to pit road, leaving Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney on the front row once again. Free pass that time was J.J. Yaley. It was Ty Dillon on the previous caution. And we're back to green. Brad Keselowski made a stop. They replaced all the spark plugs on his number 6 Ford.
And a great launch by Ryan Blaney. Puts his nose out in front.
Just 8. Outside your door.
Kevin got loose getting into 3. Had to check up a little bit, got it back underneath of him. Kevin Harvick there in 3rd.
These restarts are so exciting here because you want to get the best start you can, Mike, but when you get to turn 1 here more than any other track, you're making a quick left. You know, you're keeping it. Now here as you come up the corner, you start shifting. So it's almost like a road course as you get into 1, and everybody's on top of each other.
No give at the front of the field.
No, and when you get side by side, it's so hard to get position on that car to force them to lift, whether you're on the outside or the inside. I mean, you see it 2 by 2. Finally, Harvick thought better of it, much like he did that last restart, Mikey.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting. When we used to race cars, Kenny, the bottom guy got really loose. Now they're getting tight down there, and that's why they bump into each other on the exit. Does he make the pass?
He's going to clear him. Yes, he does. Man, Blaney got off in that corner extremely hard, dove it down on the inside. She stuck. He hammered the throttle, and to the lead he goes.
And just like that, the top 10 are single file.
I really like the way this track is racing this year. Last year it was more on the bottom. As the tires get old, everybody starts running the outside. But listen, this same thing happened last year. Everybody's made pit stop. Maybe there's going to be different players since they all got new adjustments.
How about Tyler Reddick? In the last green flag run, he made up 18 positions after having started at the back after bringing out the first caution of the day. He is still on the move.
Another guy on the move is Carson Hocevar, Mike. He's up about 7 spots in that 7 car into the top 20. Great run early for that young man.
Well, a big part of that was when you saw that one replay, we used his in-car, and it was him a 3 wide on the outside. When that scoring loop closed, he passed a bunch of cars. Speaking of passing, how about Hamlin to the inside of Busch for second?
Got to be so disciplined down on the bottom not to overshoot the corner, because that thing will push up into the guy on the outside.
Speaking of the guy on the outside, Busch used a lot of real estate off it too. Looks like he's starting to get tight on exit. I don't think you're gonna, it's no joke why these 2 cars are marching to the front. They were the fastest cars by a considerable amount in practice, and I'm talking about Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney. Here they are, almost to 1 and 2.
So do they make a change on Kyle Busch's car? This is not the same car that led all but 1 of the first 60 laps of this race.
A lot of times if you're tight, that cycle in the tires will make it worse.
Yeah, and listen, it's cloudy outside. I think the temperatures are down a little bit. They put some rubber on the racetrack. That's going to make them tighter. Who knows? Did they adjust for that?
Got some good side-by-side battles there. The battle for 10th. A.J. Allmendinger marching forward.
7 of the top 10 drivers just turned their fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, temperatures are cooling down, Mike, and I think that's what we're going to see. Man, it's getting wild. They're racing hard.
Whoa, Denny Hamlin had to play toss and catch it getting into that corner. Almost tossed it away. Great save.
Look at Larson.
This is a mess back here.
We've been waiting. We've been waiting to see this. The 5 is not patient. He's been running towards the back. The first stage, he's getting ready to make some move. Watch Kyle Larson. This is a fan favorite. The fans are on their feet. I see the hats down there. They're like, come on, Kyle.
They were 3 wide into turn 3 of the last lap. And Kyle Larson.
There's Corey LaJoie back there in this mess.
Chris Buescher in the middle of it. Austin Cindric is back there after making another stop.
You know, Mikey, you bring up a good point. One wonders, does the 9 car of Corey LaJoie, does he have the eyes on Hocevar, which is his real car? You know, listen, you can't ignore that. Don't let somebody get in my car and run better than me when I'm supposedly in the better car. This has got to be hard on Corey.
All right, let's go back and check on Michael McDowell, who spun to bring out that caution after contact from Ross Chastain.
Hit the right rear corner. I'm not even sure what happened there. I believe what they call it this day is getting Chastained.
Well, some people call it that, but I think that was 2 cars going for the same spot.
And one was, you know, the sit and duck. I mean, he was the one that was slow on the restart. Chastain moved the inside. I'm not going to put that blame on Chastain. He was all the way down on the rumble strips, all the way as low as he could possibly go. That's 3 wide on a restart getting into 1. But I really do believe the reason they were 3 wide is because you chose to two tires.
All right, now which of these drivers has the best finish in the race? That is one of Clint's Super 6 questions.
What do you think, buddy? What do you think? Call it, Mikey.
Martin Truex Jr. I told you to keep your eye on him. He's in the back. You watch this. It's going to be amazing as he comes through the field.
Denny Hamlin's in there.
Now, one of those drivers listed is Brad Keselowski, who's had some engine woes. Jamie?
Well, Mike, I talked to the Roush Yates engine team after they looked under the hood twice, and they said even though we changed all the spark plugs, they don't see anything wrong right now, but they told Brad there's something definitely wrong internally. Nothing we can do at this point. We just have to ride it out as long as it'll last.
Wow, that makes for a tough day. Keselowski already 2 laps down in his 500th career start.
How much you think that 8 car changed handling-wise, Clint, once Blaney got ahead of him and he's having to run in that wake? He's able to maintain, but he drove away from those guys earlier.
Well, you know, I thought he was having trouble. Obviously, Denny got right to his rear bumper, but he's got it sorted out, much like he did early in the last run when Blaney got to him. He kind of learned from where Blaney was running, adjusted his line, and drove back off from him. He's doing the same thing.
I was
holding steady.
We were talking to Harvick down there, and I said, "You qualified great." He said, "Yeah, the throttle's stuck." He's not known for qualifying great these days, but man, not only did he qualify great, running in the top 5. That's good to see.
Kyle Busch says he's better when the track rubbers up after a caution. Well, we'll see. Right now, he trails Ryan Blaney by 1.3 seconds. Just a few miles from Gateway Arch over on the east side of the Mississippi, but right close to St. Louis. We're in Madison, Illinois for the Enjoy Illinois 300, currently led by Ryan Blaney. He's been out front for 17 laps, 31 complete of 95 in this second stage. And here's how the Coca-Cola Racing family of drivers stands, with Hamlin third, Logano sixth, Suarez seventh, and Austin Dillon 15th, all running on the lead lap. One of the biggest stories of the day, though, has been Carson Hocevar, who is filling the seat in the number 7, usually occupied by Corey LaJoie, because LaJoie was tapped to fill in the number 9 for Chase Elliott. Hocevar is up to 17th place. He's carrying the team NICU cam, Never Ever Give Up. Great charity, helping with children's cancer issues. And boy, is he giving that car a ride.
He's a trucker, Mike. He's selling.
That's right. Finished 4th yesterday. I've been high on this kid since he showed up. And Kenny, you knew about him since he was a kid.
You know, I went over to Tri-City Speedway right here in Granite City, Illinois. And Danielle Fry, they saw him coming years ago in the Quarter Midget Series. Now it's called the NASCAR Youth Series. They were high on him 3 nights ago. They said that Carson Hocevar really was a standout as a child. So his talent is showing up.
Just remember this, too. This is all new to him, Mike. He's never run a Cup car before. And this is shifting. We're shifting more here than we do anywhere in on the whole circuit. Look at his eyeballs, studying that rearview mirror, making sure he's right on track with what's going on around him and ahead of him.
But those visors usually work better when they're down, though.
You know, a couple things. You know, the sun's, it's cloudy now. It's probably too dark for him. You know, everybody's eyes are a little different, Clint.
Keep after it, Carson. Hold the pretty wheel. It's working for him.
You know, it is a little dangerous to have your shield up, because if a fire happens, it can get up in her. So you really want that down.
Look at him shifting those
gears. Here's Christopher Bell, and that's what we're looking at, are all of the downshifts and upshifts there on the lower left.
Daniel Suarez marching toward the front.
2 gear changes each corner. That's how tight this is. Long straightaways down to 4th gear, down to 3rd gear. Get it around down the exit, rip right back up through them.
So Joey Logano now back to 7th. And was there a little contact here?
Hello, I'm here.
Time to go. Been watching that for about 5 or 6, actually longer than that, 10 laps. Suarez was definitely the faster car. Let him know it. Laid the old bumper to him, did he?
Out the Ford camera.
And here comes the Chevy.
Yeah.
You know, I got to tell you guys, I watch these races every Sunday, and this is what the fans are saying they like. This is a new era in NASCAR. I mean, that's what you do now, Mikey. We didn't do that because we knocked the radiator out of our car. Now it's like they just knock the heck out of each other. It's what they do now, and the fans love it.
Well, the difference is with this new car is it's stronger, like you said. The other fact is it's got a lot of tire under it. These cars make a lot of grip with all the underbody aero gains that we've got, and you have to hit them harder. He'll bump and run, just tap and then move him out of the way, rattle his cage a little bit. We've heard over the years. That doesn't happen with these cars. You have to hit them hard to move them.
What about the line you talked about, Kenny? You said they were going to be searching all around the track for grip, and he's way up high.
Mikey, you bring up a good point. This is way different than last year. I mean, they're up there by the wall almost now. Check this line out in turn 1.
Let's check with Jamie on the leader.
Yes, Ryan Blaney continues to lead. How about a tip of the cap to his crew chief, Jonathan Hassler. Last week was his first career win as a crew chief, and he told me it was more relief than anything, just knowing we could get the job done, knowing that we're locked into the playoffs. Now, as far as today's race, though, he said last year we felt like we gave this one up. We felt like we had a car capable of winning, and they think that again today. They adjusted him with a little air pressure, still a little tight center, but he's a rocket ship right now, Regan.
Well, the 8 car, Kyle Busch, trying to chase him down right now. Very quiet on the radio. Kyle hasn't said anything this run, but keep in mind that team did make a small air pressure adjustment on the last pit stop. That was for the end of the run, though. Felt like he didn't fire off as good as he wanted to and got too free at the end of the run. He wanted help on the backside of the run. Right now, Kyle's starting to click off some pretty good laps.
Thanks, Regan. Wonder if anybody told Jonathan Hassler that Blaney's last couple of wins came back-to-back.
Huh. That'd be nice to do again, wouldn't it?
What do they call that? The old momentum, boys.
And I think
I told you that in the pre-race, Mikey. You never listen to me.
Well, I told you about Martin Truex, and look what's happening here, Mike. He never listens to me.
Well, he's battling Chase Briscoe with the Upside app cam. We welcome them to NASCAR on board the number 14. He's got some work to do. They were fined heavily and docked a lot of points and playoff points by NASCAR for a counterfeit part that was found on the underbody during post-race inspection back at the R&D Center after the Coca-Cola 600. Briscoe is going to have to win to make the playoffs. In fact, he's going to have to win in every round to advance. So very uphill climb for that team after that monstrous penalty.
Yeah, the biggest hit is how bad they ran. You know, it's one kick to run as bad as they did, and then you get home and realize, you mean we're getting the biggest fine in NASCAR history because of that performance? How do I explain that to the boss?
Well, one makes you wonder, maybe that's why they were doing that, because they were running so bad they needed to do something to try to run better. But Mike, it seems like nobody learns their lessons every week because this story rears its ugly head. Everybody's getting in trouble week after week.
Well, it's the first time, Kenny, that we found a counterfeit part among the single source parts that are required to be on this racetrack car. We've seen modified parts before. This is the first time that a team was found to have recreated
It's racing. It's never trouble until you get caught.
That's right.
They're getting caught. That's the biggest difference.
You know, that's just about what Junior Johnson used to say. He'd go, well, it ain't cheating unless you get caught.
And then you learn a lesson.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, we talked to some of these drivers, and they're like, hey, the car owners wanted this car. So now the car owners got the car, and they still get in trouble.
44 complete in stage 2. Kyle Busch holding at about 1.2 seconds behind Ryan Blaney. Denny Hamlin at 1.8, and then it's 3 more seconds back to Kevin Harvick, William Byron, then Daniel Suarez and Joey Logano.
Still under caution out at the racetrack for that Carson Hocevar wreck that we just showed you. I want to talk about Ricky Stenhouse Jr. because you mentioned him. You said again in the top 10.
Yeah, he just has been a top 10 car really pretty much every week so far this year on every different type of racetrack we've been to. And along with Stenhouse, we've seen Denny Hamlin, we've seen some of those guys actually be able to move up a little bit on the racetrack, make this racetrack wider than what we've seen in the past. There's no traction compound or resin added to it this year, and honestly, the racing has been pretty good.
Yeah, and you know, this caution right here, what's timely about it is this puts them into a fuel window that they can make it to the end of stage 2, because we had a lot of drivers that came in like Austin Cindric, like Martin Truex Jr., Michael McDowell. They topped off on that last caution. They were going to be close to being able to make it, but this is kind of a reset. But I hate this so much for that 7 car in Carson Hocevar. He was doing a yeoman's job in that 7 car, and but this place is hard on brakes. I mean, we see a lot of brake pressure at the end of these long straightaways. I'm not totally shocked that we saw a brake failure, but I certainly hate it for him.
I know that you had asked, I don't remember who it was during the weather delay, about, you know, just the difference in temperature, maybe Austin Dillon. Yeah. And as we get later in the night, the temperatures are obviously going to be a lot different. I mean, this is where we would be ending the race right about here if it was regularly scheduled. So do you think there will be much change as it starts to progress?
Sure, there'll be a little bit of a balance shift to all of these cars. Typically, the cars get tighter as the sun goes down. So, you know, the crew chiefs will have to adjust on that. But I saw the lights starting to come on. It was already getting dark at the racetrack. So that balance shift will happen from here on throughout the end of the race. Probably not as much as we see at Charlotte, Larry, that being one of the most temperature-sensitive tracks that we run at.
But the grip level just goes up. With the grip level going up, that means the speeds go up. And Mike Joy made the note, back about lap 62, well after that restart before this caution, most of the top 10 ran their fastest lap of the race. You could start to see it get cloudy, the track temperatures coming down. So that's the biggest thing. Balance changed, but the speeds go up.
Yeah, and the big difference today is that it was not like it was just kind of hot. I mean, it was really hot. It was in the mid-90s earlier today, so it'll be a pretty big transition.
All right, we're going to go to commercial break right now, see if we can get back out to the racetrack afterwards. This is why we are under caution right now. Carson Hocevar filling in for Corey LaJoie, who's filling in for Chase Elliott, hits the wall. We'll be right back and try to get you back out to St. Louis.
There it broke. I love that he turned it over into the wall seam, steering that thing right into the wall, not spinning it out. That was a very heads-up play by him. Unfortunate circumstance, but a good heads-up play. Regan, what do you got?
Well, Clint, about a half a lap before that happened, Carson came over the radio, said my brake pedal is going soft, so he had a hint that that was coming. Unfortunately, ended a great day for him. The 14 car of Chase Briscoe, also a hole in the radiator, possibly damaged from stuff coming off of the 7 car.
You can actually see it in that replay right there. You saw it hit the front of the 14 car. How unfortunate is that? Saw that same thing happen last week to the Legacy cars. Both of them, by the way.
So Chase Briscoe sits and waits while they make repairs trying to get him back on track.
We're going to see various strategies here, I believe, guys. What do you think, Clint?
Oh, I definitely think. I think you're splitting the stage right in half right here. It's time to play. Well, I can't pass them on that racetrack. Larry, get me 2 tires, get me some track position.
All right, BJ McLeod gets the free pass on this, the 4th caution flag of the afternoon.
I want 2 tires, please.
I like it.
Jamie?
And Ryan Blaney has all the track position right now. A little bit tight center, sliding that nose. They're going to free him up a little bit like they did last stop, take a bigger swing at it here. The 4 of Kevin Harvick really had some really good lap times there, just losing grip as he ran. That seems to be across the board, Regan.
The 11 of Denny Hamlin a little bit too loose to start the run. Stayed too loose as well off of turn 2 in particular. Wants help in that area. And the 8 car to Kyle Busch was tighter in the center. Better on the exit that run, but they've got to figure out how to get that car to fire off better.
Look at this. A lot of shake-up. A lot of 2 tires. A lot of 4 tires. Definitely going to shake this stage up. Look at that. Truex 11. There he got his track position back. That fixed that. +8 for Allmendinger. Logano, Blaney. Now you got Hamlin and Busch with 4 tires. They fell back. I love this.
This is going to be fun when we go back racing.
4th caution of the afternoon. We're at lap 99. Week 9 of the USFL kicks off Saturday, noon Eastern on Fox. Michigan takes on Pittsburgh, and action continues Sunday as Philly battles New Jersey at 7. Catch every play Saturday and Sunday on Fox. Well, Regan, how about team communication on the 11?
Mike, all kinds of stuff going on down here in pit road. The 11 car, they have actually lost internet on the pit box, which means pretty much every team up and down pit road has lost that same internet. They use that to communicate back and forth to the war zones, or war station, excuse me, back in North Carolina. So something to keep an eye on as this race plays out.
Well, we weren't the only ones.
No.
Everybody here lost something.
Technical difficulties across the board. So 2 tires for Blaney, Logano, Allmendinger, Truex, Bowman, and Kyle Busch. They will start in the first 6 positions, having taken just 2 tires.
So this ought to be exciting, right?
Yes, for sure. This definitely shakes
Not Michael
things
McDowell
up.
exciting.
How about Truex?
That's what I'm thinking.
That pit road mishap, your man is back.
There you go. He's who I'm watching. And he's right back in this thing.
Last year's winner, Logano, can never count him out.
Look how beautiful that is, man.
Green flag.
All lined up and going at it.
Hold our breath.
Three wide, of course.
That's Harvick.
And that's Tyler Reddick in the McDonald's car. He's coming to town after that spin early.
Kyle Busch on the outside of Martin Truex.
Daniel Suarez has got a hot ride. He's up inside the top 10 going after Denny Hamlin on the low side.
Man, what a great opportunity for Martin Truex Jr. and company. Had that pit road penalty. Just landed right in their lap. Got all this track position back. 2 tires stop.
Man,
perfect.
Hard on the brake by Kyle Busch. You know, to get that position, he really dove in harder, used those brakes up.
Look at that big push by Hamlin on the back of Allmendinger. Yep. That's Daytona stuff right there.
You see both of them.
Allmendinger with just 2 tires. Hamlin with 4 trying to get by. Suarez with 4.
Mikey, these straightaways are so long that you go riding for a little bit. So you kind of get that draft into effect. Let me hit him. Let me make some time up.
All right, Carson Hocevar checked and released at the Infield Care Center. Had a very promising debut until a brake rotor broke going into turn 1.
Bummed for him. That kid was doing a whale of a job.
That was fun to watch, wasn't it? Wow, look at these moves.
That's 4 tires versus 2 right there. Cut and thrust.
Yeah, but you could still hold strong on that outside with Allmendinger. I mean, you know, wasn't the best car, and Truex was definitely a top 3 or 4 car there. So these 2 tires are holding on just fine. You know, you start looking at that towards the end of the race as an option, without a doubt.
And that upper groove as an option, as you see Kyle Busch. He's like that up there today.
Yeah, that 11 of Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, they're going at it. That's one of the good battles of the day.
Jamie?
And what a day Carson Hocevar had going. Kenny Wallace, Clint Boyer saying that you were doing everything right except for your visor being open. But how would you assess your first time in a Cup car today up to that point?
I mean, I thought it was great. I had a blast. Just so thankful for the opportunity. I don't have a job for next year. And I know Alan East and Cody Ebal are sitting there and wants me to run for them, and I'll forever run a race or however many. Man, I'm just so thankful. They gave me the opportunity, Premier Security. Gave me the opportunity to drive Xfinity car, and now I was driving a Cup car, and I was running 16th. I was just so surreal. First time ever. I thought we were going to have a good day and be a good spot, but Schluter, Celsius, Spire, Ryan Sparks, you know, hopefully that call for a Cup ride isn't the only one I get in my life.
Don't worry. It won't be. You're going to see a lot more of this young man.
Keep driving like that, that's for sure.
You know what I like? He said, I was running 16th. That tells you how tough NASCAR is. That's a big moment for that kid.
That's right. It tells you just how big a moment it is.
I really like how he sold himself, and I tell the young kids you got to do that. He reminded us, hey, I was running 16th. Yeah, that's a good reminder.
But he was in awe too, right? He was humble about it. That's what he appreciated the opportunity. You could feel that.
Look back there just at the top of our screen. Kyle Larson tiptoeing into the scene. You see him just ahead of Reddick there in that 5 car. He's up to 13th. Hadn't been the day at all we expected, but can they perform the magic again and fix that car like they did last week?
Well, if he breaks into the top dozen, it'll be for the first time today.
I'm just so appreciative of these grooves. Check this race out. Come on, race fans. Look at this. Passing on the outside. When was the last time we watched that? On a flat track.
Denny Hamlin sizing this all up.
The groove is, you know, you just touched on it, but you can't oversell that enough. I mean, the reason this is happening is because that groove just keeps widening out more and more and more, enabling these options to go where they're not.
Well, that sounds like a Kenny Schrader statement right there. Schrader would say you have to pass them where they're not. Makes a lot of sense, but sometimes it's hard to do.
But it's never held more true than today with this new car. You know, the diffuser and the under aero body performance of this. How about LaJoy?
Whoa.
Here he comes. Crossover 2 for 1 coming at you down the front stretch. 3 wide getting into 1.
Oh,
Christopher Bell strong in the middle. Harrison Burton.
Squeezed.
Maybe a tiny bit of contact there.
Well, looked like Corey moved up like he didn't know he was 3 wide. Was that possible?
Well, now you got Corey and Burton. You got Preece has jumped into the middle of this with Bell and then McDowell.
I would say Corey LaJoy in Chase Elliott's car is ready to go. He wants to show his talent.
Well, I think it's time. Like, you can tiptoe around there and try to mind your P's and Q's all you want. When you're running 30th, boys, I'm going to try something.
Yeah.
I cannot finish in this car clear back here.
Kyle Busch has gone to second. Here is the race for third.
Look at that speed through the middle, all the way up in the middle of the racetrack. And he's good at that.
That's your 4 tires versus 2. Don't forget, Logano's on 2 tires, but I like this option. I like that it's on the table. I like that they didn't just fall out of the sky and go to the trunk in this thing like we saw McDowell try that last week at 600. Different ball game here with the fall off in these tires. That is definitely a play that everybody's going to look at.
William Byron into the top 5.
Don't you think that this guy's going to be hurt for him to win this race before it's all over? He's been fast all day, steadily moving forward. Keep your eye on 24.
He's been the only one of the Hendrick camp all weekend long that you kind of look over your shoulder and go, don't forget about him.
That's Clint's new word, by the way.
I like it. It's a good Midwestern measure.
There you go.
Coming up off this corner, there's so much speed to be made and lost. You know, before you grab a gear, it gets you down that long straightaway. What a great race.
.26 to go in stage 2 when they come back. Ryan Blaney holding on to a 1.3 second lead on Kyle Busch. 21 laps to go in stage 2. Blaney's lead over Kyle Busch now cut to 1 second, with Hamlin 2.3 seconds back. Let's take a Sunday NASCAR crank it up on FS1. .16 to go in stage 2, and the lead remains right close to 1 second. Ryan Blaney, winner at Charlotte 1 week ago, breaking a non-winning streak of a year and a half, to the delight of Team Penske, doubling up for the weekend, the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 for the first time ever.
Yes, he is, and Kyle Busch right behind him, taking advantage of those 4 tires, 2 fastest cars on the track.
Those two started on the front row. You got to go back another 1.5 seconds to find Denny Hamlin.
And Denny's rolling in the 3rd position, not making any ground though, and behind him Willie B is coming, and he's the guy I keep my eye on, Kenny.
I like Willie B. I've been watching him run these short tracks. He's the real deal. Watched him run Hickory against the best in short track racing. His talent is getting better and better every year.
In 5th, 5.8 seconds off the lead, Joey Logano, last year's winner here.
You don't have to look far back to find 6th. Here comes Daniel Suarez. Got the pressure on him. The next one is the one I like the most. Just keep going down through them. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. running 7th, overachieving 2 weeks in a row. Coke 600 last weekend into top 10. I love the fact and the job they're doing in this 47 car.
5 top 10s so far this season for Stenhouse. That equals his total for 2021 and 2022.
And there's my guy who I've been watching, Martin Truex Jr., but we've fallen on a little bit of a hard times. We were up in the top 5. Now Martin slipped back a little bit and doesn't seem to be able to gain on the guys ahead of him. Ricky Stenhouse just got around him.
Kevin Harvick, he says this is his last year, but he's driving like he's going to drive 10 more years. He's going to be up here in the booth with you all, but boy, he is holding a pretty wheel. He is still a race car driver.
10th is Ross Chastain, 9.4 seconds off the lead after that skirmish with Michael McDowell back at lap 54. He's held on to a spot in the top 10.
And there's the man
Wait a minute, which one?
I'm after Kyle Busch. Excuse me, Kyle Larson. What I love, Mike, is that he's recovered. I mean, he was all out to lunch, nowhere to be found, and now he's driven right up to the
You're
front.
going to have to sell this quick because I got to sell Bowman. Bowman right there behind him. But, buddy, can he take it away? Here comes the other one.
Yeah, there's that outside lane. Reddick, I love this lane. I've been talking about it. As we go down the straightaway, Reddick's going to go high. If he doesn't, I'll be surprised. Yeah, there he goes. Riding high. Tyler Reddick.
Back up at 8th place. Harvick bouncing back here, trying to. On Martin Truex. And Harv makes the pass with 11 to go in stage 2.
Winding this baby down.
32 cars on the lead lap here. Regan.
Well, Mike, just to update the 47 car, Ricky Stenhouse. He started off this race lacking some grip and drive off with the race car. But right now, this run, he likes the car set. His grip's better. Everything going well in the 47 right now.
I like that. He's doing a good job. That's 2 weeks in a row. Big time results out of that 47 car. Daytona 500 winner.
It's one thing winning the Daytona 500, but he is following it up. They always say there's a jinx. Be careful with winning the Daytona 500 because the rest of the year doesn't turn out real well. But he is really doing it week after week.
And I don't mean any disrespect by saying overachieving. I'm telling you, I've been to that shop. I've also been to Hendrick Motorsports. And there's a difference. There's a big time difference. And when you're running in front of some of those cars, buddy, you're doing something right.
Well, doing something right now is Kyle Busch. He is eaten into Blaney's lead. It was a second at the last commercial break. It's now down under 0.4 of a second. Busch is there.
Martin Truex continuing to fall back. He's back to the 10th spot now. Got those 2 tires, and I just don't think it's working for him. We'll probably see everybody take 4 at this stage break, Mike.
I think it did. It's just time. It ran too long. If you caught a caution right there, 25, 30 lap, then you could capitalize on it. Went a little too long.
Regan, how about Truex?
Well, you guys are exactly correct. He came on the radio on about lap 127 and said, guys, I just ran out of tires. Reported after that it's gotten very tight in the center and loose off in the corners, meaning the back snapping out from under him.
Regan, we just saw that loose off turn 2. That car was all over the place.
I can't tell you how daredevil that race is there. You go down this long straightaway side by side, and it's like, I'm not lifting.
Playing chicken.
Yeah, it's chicken. I'm not lifting. We all run a lot of laps here. You get down to the end of that back straightaway, you're like,
sure hope he lifts soon.
Yeah, because I'm better than you are.
For 21st place, Christopher Bell has been going at it with Austin Cindric. Now, Bell finished 11th in stage 1, but had a 15-second pit stop. So he restarted, 21st. Hasn't gained a spot.
I think it's because he's been beside the 2 car the whole time. They haven't been able to get anywhere.
So of the top 9, only Blaney and Logano took 2 tires. Everybody else got 4. So worked out fine for the Penske cars, not so well for others.
Not really sure why, but there's some hardcore racing ramping up like right now. I don't know if it's
that's those 2 tires falling back even further and further, right? That's the coming goers situation that happens with only 6 to go, 5 to go in the stage here. Like I said, I like to play. It's needed, and it worked. You learned what you needed to do. You know the number of laps that you can make that play work.
Another spot for Ricky Stenhouse.
This one was just a few laps too long.
6th place for Stenhouse now. 6 cars at the front of the field took just 2 tires on that last stop.
Mike, I teased Ricky Stenhouse in a good way. I said, why does it seem like you're always finishing 7th? That's a really good thing. Today has a shot to be better than 7th.
There he comes into turn 1, way up the hill. Oh, dirt racer there, searching around for some grip, right?
Yeah, he's over there at Tri-City Speedway, about 10 minutes from here. On Thursday night, he was running an open wheel midget car lost the left rear wheel, but he's a racer. He'll race anything.
I tell you what, in this NASCAR, if you finish 7th every weekend, let me tell you, that'd probably take you all the way to the finals in Phoenix.
Yeah, and that
ain't no bad go.
Yeah, that was my point too, bragging on him. But I think he's getting better now every week.
You run 7th every week, before you know it, you'll be running 5th, top 5s, and then here comes the wins.
Well, other than clean air on the nose, Ryan Blaney must know something these other drivers don't, because the 2 tires have prevailed for him.
Here's a battle for a point. Every point matters. Seen it when it comes down to the wire in those playoffs. Every point matters.
10th place, 1 stage point at stake here with 2 to go in stage 2.
20 laps into this race, Kyle Larson wasn't thinking about any stage points. He was so off the pace, and they dialed that car right in.
And isn't that the sign of a championship, Mikey? I mean, he's in trouble, and now he's out of trouble, and now he's, and like you talk about, these are points for a championship.
2 weeks in a row, by the way. They were under the hood of that race car, adjusting massive wholesale changes to the 5 car. Got that guy a car capable of driving right back up to the front.
And if you count the All-Star race, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Prime example. Yes, that's exactly right.
All right, final lap of the stage.
Getting them all, this boy. Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney going for his 2nd stage win of the season. He got his first last week in the 3rd stage out of 4. And he's going to grab one here over Kyle Busch by less than 0.4 of a second. Busch closes right to his bumper, and there's the flag. One more lap, might have been a different finish. That is the end of stage 2. Ryan Blaney out in front of Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, and Daniel Suarez. Yeah, go ahead. Fine. Welcome back to St. Louis. Stage 2 in the books. Ryan Blaney, the stage winner. Well, this unique oval has presented its challenges, and one of those is upshifting and downshifting. 5th, 4th, 3rd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. There's a lot to do, as Larry McReynolds can show us with our Toyota Cutaway car.
You know, Mike, even though we're at a 1.25 mile oval, they're still going to be doing a lot of shifting today. So let's go into our Toyota Tech Center and take a look at our Toyota Cutaway car at the 5-speed sequential shifter. Now, the handle is still to the right side of the driver. It actually works pretty simple. Now, to upshift, you just keep pulling the shifter back. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. To downshift, you just push it ahead, which is what they'll be doing going in the corner. You see the rod, it goes through the firewall to the gearbox in the rear. So actually, once again, a pretty simple system. And you know what? Entering these corners at over 160 miles per hour, a little downshift to third is not a bad thing to slow the car down.
Thanks, Larry. I tell you, that transaxle has impressed me. The gearbox and the rear axle all in one sealed unit. We did see a failure or two last year in the very early going, but I think this is probably its biggest test today.
These things are tested tough, bulletproof, in my opinion, and it's really changed the game. You know, you don't have mistakes. You don't have it getting locked in between the gates. Saw a few times guys getting used to not, you know, downshifting, going the wrong way, but been a very tested, tough, tried and true product.
You know, and you talk about brake problems and how hard we use these brakes here at St. Louis down into turn 1 especially. Without that downshift, we would even have bigger problems. That really helps slow the car down, and these guys can be more aggressive because of that.
So pit road should be open this time by. We saw some gamblers with 2 tires, and really the only one it worked out for was Blaney.
I love the intensity.
Me too.
You know they're nervous, but you have to overcome that nervous energy.
You're nervous because the pressure's on. Between those 2 cars alone right there, it's going to come down to, we've seen it with Byron and his teammate Larson before. Whoever beats who out of the pits could be your winner. The pit area and this pit road is going to be very important. Oh, by the way, do not speed behind the wheel of this car.
Remember, due to inspection failure, Blaney lost his pit selection, but the cars immediately in front and behind him are not on the lead lap, so he'll be able to get a clean entry and exit from his box.
And a great pit stop all starts with a great entry by the driver. He's got to put it right on the mark so the choreography of the pit stop can go down.
He was so lucky when that 6 car went a lap down.
All right, here we go, Jamie.
Daniel Suarez in the 99. Welcome to the top 5. It's been a rough 4 weeks for him, finishing 15th or worse. What a top 5 would do for this team. 4 tires here, good balance overall. Doesn't feel like he's as good on the long run as the guys around him. Ryan Blaney in the 12 said, just bottom line, keep me turning through the middle. Battery's been tight. 2 tires for the 12, Regan.
Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, still needing to be tighter with that car. He's free in the middle of 1 and 2 and off of 2 in particular. And the 8 car, Kyle Busch, laps 15 to 18, it starts to get loose off, and then it starts getting tighter center after that.
All right, here's your race off pit road, sponsored by Ram.
Willie B, how about this?
Tyler Reddick and William Byron. And Reddick gambles with 2 tires, as does Austin Cindric, who picks up 12 positions.
That's an amazing pit stop for the 24 team. Remember last week at Charlotte, we said that pit box is why they had such great stops. They just performed on an even playing field. What an awesome stop for those guys.
Well, Kenny Wallace, St. Louis native, now back living in St. Louis, racing out of here. Love your enthusiasm for this sport. Thanks for sharing it with us. Where are we going to see you racing next?
So I'm a local guy now, Mike, so you can see me at Tri-City Speedway on Friday nights or Highland Speedway, Highland, Illinois on Saturdays.
How did you get this past Kim? You said you were retiring. I read it my own self on social media.
It's a really big deal. Listen, I want to thank all of you. Mike, thanks for loving me, asking me to do this. All you guys, I just love racing.
You're my buddy. You're my buddy, Kenny.
No kumbaya. There's times I wanted to wreck y'all, but I love you right now.
All right, Kenny Wallace, thank you. We'll be back for stage 3 at St. Louis. Lots of racing left to go today on FS1. Next Sunday is the NASCAR Cup Series Fox season finale. It's the 11-turn roller coaster of chaos in wine country, California. The Toyota Save Mart 350 pre-race at 3 p.m. Eastern. The green flag at 3:30 Eastern, only on Fox. Jamie McMurray will join Clint Boyer and me to call the race, where Daniel Suarez picked up his first ever Cup Series victory 1 year ago.
A little bit bittersweet. Such a fun weekend to get out there. I don't like leaving, right? It's hard to toss the old handy old ball over, but looking forward to doing that to the NBC guys. I know Dale Jr., Jeff Burton, all of our buddies, Rick Allen, they're locked and loaded and ready for their side of the ball, or their side of it. But Sonoma, man, fun weekend. What a blast.
So there's been fiber issues and trouble with data transmission and reception outside the track. Regan, how are the teams dealing with it?
Yeah, Mike, we touched on it earlier in the race about the fact they didn't have the internet. What that means, they don't have SMT data. They don't have timing and scoring on the pit boxes. They don't have anything they're accustomed to. Keep that in mind. If this turns into a fuel mileage race, they use that SMT data to predict how much fuel they're going to have. It's going to be old school. These guys are going to have calculators and pens out down here.
They're going to wish they had Larry Mack on pit road.
We won't be able to see what they're doing.
William Byron's pit stop was the fastest one of the entire day, so he is up there on the front row with Tyler Reddick for this restart. Blaney and Hamlin, Suarez and Busch, Stenhouse and Harvick, Cindric and Logano, the top 10. We're back to green.
Can Byron clear? Yes. Makes that bottom work.
Well, that's two cars right there that we thought were going to be strong. Can you get them out front? Can you get them this track position? Well, we've done that. Let's see how strong they are. Can they run and hide from these four tires?
A four-pack, four cars under a blanket right here. Hamlin, Blaney, Busch way out wide, out from under the blanket. Suarez right there. And again, we're going to see this 2 versus 4 tire situation play out.
Well, Reddick is taking advantage of his so far, able to hold down that second spot. Look how fast Denny is around the bottom here. He's going to clear Blaney.
Much like we saw that last run with these two tires. Let's talk about this for a second with Reddick. There's going to be a window, right? There's a 20, 25 lap window where that holds strong, and then you're going to start having trouble. Maybe you catch a caution. That's what you're hoping for.
Suarez really strong on the bottom against Kyle Busch off turn 2. He's been fast all day, Clint. Moved up through the field, doing a good job.
So the 2 tire cars on this last stop are Reddick, Austin Cindric, and Michael McDowell.
Yeah,
Cindric and McDowell 12th and 13th.
And you saw it when on the race off pit road. Plus 11. You tell me how he's going to pass 11 cars on that racetrack. No chance. You're not going to happen. Let's take that gamble. Let's see what happens here. Give luck a chance to operate. That caution comes out at the right time. Bam.
He gets his 4 tires like everybody else.
That's right.
And it's a game changer.
You have to run enough laps here that everybody's going to come in and do the same thing. But you have to net gain somehow, some way. And getting off sequence on a strategy call is exactly how you do that.
Blaney trying to take over 3rd. Suarez going after Busch for 4th and is going to get it there for 5th, rather. Logano and Stenhouse.
You know, the other one we were talking about, Byron, you know, just keeps grinding this thing out, a student of the sport, inching in on the setup of this thing. You get that baby out front, look what's happening. He's driving off from him.
Well, Blaney made it work on 2 tires in the last green flag lap run. Looks like Reddick is holding his own here on 2.
They just bail it off deeper in the corner when they need that extra space, don't they? Just dive way down in there. That's so cool to watch.
Jamie.
Well, the difference between these two drivers, Blaney's been pretty happy with his race car all day, but the 45 at Tyler Reddick, not so much. He had that spin early on in the first opening laps of this race, and since says he's really disconnected. The front end feels tight, the rear is loose. It starts tight, it ends free. He's struggling to finish the corner. That was all before the last pit stop, so they decided to throw 2 tires at it and see what they could do with the strategy and how long he can hang on up there.
And if that's how one of the best cars here is working, think about everybody else and the kind of day they're having.
Kyle Busch is the one that seems to be struggling the worst in the dirty air. The more cars he gets in front of him, the obvious it's going to handle worse, but he is having fits with that thing right now. I mean, you don't have to look any further than what we were talking about with William Byron. You know, he was the same way, kind of mired back in traffic, stuck where he was at, put that thing out front. He set sail.
You saw Chase Briscoe back on track, 49 laps down. And this from Ty Gibbs in 22nd. Tell you, the racing from 20th on back here is better than it is up front.
Oh,
we have 32 lead lap cars, and they are really going at it.
Those guys are desperate, Mike. They got to make something happen.
It's hard to explain to somebody that you raced way harder for 25th than you did for the lead, but it's so true.
15th place, Christopher Bell, battling a new dad for the second time, Austin Dillon. They welcomed a daughter. Whitney welcomed a daughter this week, Blaze.
And I welcome to the Girl Dad Club.
Oh, yeah.
Ty Gibbs has been quiet today, hasn't he? Clint, you kind of wondered how he would perform here and hadn't had much to talk about yet.
Well, and I thought, you know, when you have a teammate, Hamlin, with the speed that he showed in his car, you know, maybe that it'd be able to look over at notes after practice and qualifying and mire to something, but that's just not the case.
Eric
They're
Jones
a little
in
bit
the
off for them.
43 car bumping into the top 20.
18th for Jones now. And here's Byron, your leader. 0.6 of a second ahead of Hamlin. William Byron has not finished outside the top 5 since April.
Unbelievable. Kenny talked about what a great short track racer he was coming up through the ranks, and just an amazing driver. From the time we got him in the trucks to Xfinity, you just knew it was something special.
Well, the only one that's really been able to hold the speed to his level is Larson, his teammate, right? But we just showed you the beat. I mean, it's the worst heartbeat you've ever seen. He's running at 180 beats per minute, where, you know, Byron's just steady Eddie, consistent every week.
Larson was on a defib when this thing started, and now he's fought his way inside the top 10. What an effort for that team. Can he get up to the top 5? Sledding gets pretty tough when you race inside the top 10.
It is, but you keep moving this direction and keep finding little things like you have. Keep grinding this thing out. That's exactly what championship teams do.
He and Cliff Daniels starting to remind me a lot of Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus. No matter how bad they start the day, they always are able to make that car better as the day goes on. It's very rare that they end up in the same place where they started if they're not up there in the top 10 at the beginning.
That's a great comparison, Mike. Special relationships. When you got a driver like Kyle Larson, it just makes for fantastic results.
Well, even with all the on-track activity this week, including the Truck Series, the track temperature is now the lowest it's been all week. It's finally under 100 degrees.
Well, you know, inching in on 7 o'clock at night here in the Midwest, and that is that's a game changer. You know, if we would have started this race when we needed to, without those lightning strikes, hot and slick out, this track would have been definitely different.
What a day it's been for McDowell. Had a spin, went to the back, had contact with the wall, took 2 tires, didn't work. Now he's got all the way up to the 14th position. Good rally for this team.
And again, they took 2 tires on this stop.
Making it work now.
Yep.
Chris Buescher in the 17, hadn't talked a lot about him today. He's made his way in the top 20 and trying to get more.
Yeah, he's lost a couple of spots here in the last 15 laps to Jones and now Cindric with Burton right there.
Starting to get some movement up front. Bush around Reddick. That's that 2 tires starting to wear down on him. Slipping back a little bit with Reddick. But I tell you, Denny Hamlin is getting a little bigger in William Byron's mirror for the lead.
Hamlin 0.4 of a second back. For about the last lap, it's been between 4 and 5/10 of a second. And now he cuts the margin even further.
And roll that middle just a little bit better in both ends.
"77 laps to go in St. Louis. William Byron leading for Team Hendrick and Chevrolet. All right, let's look at today's race summary, sponsored by Mother's Polish. We have 72 laps to go. 168 of 240 laps are complete. We've had 5 different leaders. Ryan Blaney has led the most, 63 laps so far today. And we've had 5 caution flags, counting the 2 stage breaks. The only car out of the race is Carson Hocevar, who exploded a brake rotor. And we have 32 cars on the lead lap, all the way back to B.J. McLeod.
There's our battle for 5th, Mike, and it's lined up behind Tyler Reddick. He's got them stacked up, and the first one to get around is Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, he's definitely to the backside of this 2-tire operation, and call that they went for, needing a caution pretty desperately bad pretty soon for Tyler Reddick. Still's working, though, by the way.
Net gain, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We've really only had one short run all day. After the end of stage 1 at lap 45, we restarted. The caution came out right away. That didn't even count as a short run. So it's all been dependent upon long run speed today.
And that's how close things are for the lead.
6th place, Joey Logano. Passing Tyler Reddick. There's that double downshift, 5th, 4th, 3rd. Christopher Bell has had quite a run. He restarted 22nd. He is up to 13th. Make that 12th with this pass of Alex Bowman.
And we've seen how difficult passing is. You make that many in this short of laps. That's a fast Toyota.
Ooh, did you see Harvick sliding up behind them guys? Very loose on top of the racetrack, Kevin Harvick.
Whoa, that was a squeeze play, wasn't it? Joey Logano shut the door.
Clear, I said near, no clear. That was really close.
You saw
Stenhouse Jr.
You saw Harvick wiggling around.
Man, he was so loose in the corner. There he is, off the corner loose, sideways.
Just outside the top 10, Martin Truex running 11th. Regan.
Well, Mike, the 19-car Martin Truex, they feel like they've actually got a piece of brake rotor from that earlier caution with Carson Hocevar stuck in the splitter of that car. He's kind of fizzled out right now. Can't move his way forward like he was early in the race. That may be a big part of it. He also just said, I burnt the rear tires off. Jamie?
And a couple spots behind him, Alex Bowman in the 48 started this race 18th up to 13th now. When they put 2 tires on it, he lost all the handling. So they brought him in that last stop, put 4 tires on it, made adjustments. But I talked to Alex about his comeback last week after missing a few races with that broken vertebrae. He said, I was fine in the race car, but I was sore all week long, and I did not expect that. He said, I've been stretching, but there's nothing else I can do. In the car, I'm fine, but I know this next week is going to be soreness.
All right, thanks for the update. Kyle Larson has broken into the top 10, trying to gain a couple more spots.
Somebody's in the wall again. It's Reddick. I saw it right in front of those guys. Saw the smoke. I think it's the exact same situation. Now, he was a 2-tire guy here, but I think you're looking at the same exact thing, running 7th, just like Carson Hocevar. I saw the smoke in those guys' screen there, and man, sure enough, Reddick.
Now, this caution is a break for William Byron. On the team radio, they had a concern that he might have a right front tire rub for the 24.
Maybe working his way through some of that lap traffic. I don't see anything.
Okay, here he comes down. Poof, exact same thing as Hocevar. I'm going to tell you that's a brake rotor as well.
Just a violent explosion right there. And look at him
See
hugging that wall.
Look at the shrapnel coming out from behind there.
That's so smart of those guys to hug that wall and not go up into it at an angle.
Takes me back to Pocono a long time ago. Jimmy Johnson had the same thing happen. Spun down below. Man, it was the worst wreck I think I've ever seen. It was right in my lap.
Jamie?
Well, you see the 45 of Tyler Reddick. They just told him to bring it down into the pit box. Let's get tires on it, and then we'll take it back to the garage. But he certainly confirmed what you guys saw, brake rotor explosion there.
Man, he was the one needing a caution. Didn't need to be the caution. I tell you, a lot of brake rotor, a lot of shrapnel in front of those cars. Remember the 14 car ran through that, knocked a hole in the radiator. That 47, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., those guys were right behind him when that happened. Keep an eye on those cars.
Greg Galding will get the free pass for the second caution in a row here.
I'm going to tell you, 65 to go. This is setting up the money stop.
But you got to get 4 here, don't you?
There's the brake rotor. See all the pieces broke? Hot, hot, hot. Hold. Be careful kicking in things. Look how big that rotor is. Hard to believe that thing would break.
We talked a lot about that heavy braking into turn 1, and that's just another example of just a little bit too much.
The brakes much bigger on this 7th gen car than what we had before, because with the 18-inch diameter wheel that we now have, that BBS forged alloy wheel, there's room for much bigger brakes than we ever had before.
The one caveat to all of that conversation, you want these brake temperatures, they optimize at a certain temperature, right? That's where they find the most grip. What they don't like is getting hot to there and then cold and then hot to there. And with these long straightaways at this racetrack and the brake pressure that they apply after that, that's really hard on these brakes, obviously, with 2 failures today. Kevin Harvick last race here, last year, same exact thing happened. Rolls reverse, just getting into 3 instead of 1. That's a pretty bad place for that to happen.
It's scary.
As soon as you lay your foot on the brake, that thing goes to the floor. Oh, you were along for the ride.
But again, thank goodness it happens on the straightaway where the driver's up close to the wall and can ride that wall into turn number 1. instead of having to shoot up and across the racetrack from the bottom into that barrier.
You know, Clint, you mentioned the money stop. What about, I talked about Byron's team, getting them that track position. What will we see here? I think you've got to get 4 tires, 64 laps. The guys can make it from here. So this is a big moment of the race here coming on pit road.
Oh, I think you're definitely taking 4 tires. Hey, here's the deal. No mistakes. That's what I mean by the money stop. Do not beat yourself here. Them boys have been money. How many times? Was that 5 or 6 times they capitalized last week on that #1 stall? Put old Willie B out front and 24 cars. Those guys are strong. 6 times last week.
They got him the lead.
Unbelievable.
And Michael, you're right. We're within the window now where the teams can make it from here after this stop all the way to the finish at lap 240.
And it wasn't just because of that #1 stall either. They were busting off 9-second stops.
Everybody wanted to complain about that one first pit stall because of that. That team just showed everybody here with that last stop on pit road that they got the lead with them, that it wasn't just a pit stall.
My man's done broke down here.
They had, the 24 team had 3 of the fastest 6 stops of the entire season last week.
I think they just had one of the fastest ones this season last stop. Can they do it again?
Rudy Fugel's the crew chief, Tyler Jones the car chief, Jeff Cordero, Ryan Patton, Oren Osowski, Spencer Bishop, Landon Walker. That is the over-the-wall team for William Byron, the top of the pits.
Big reason why he's been so consistent. When you can rely on that pit crew to get you up front and gain spots on pit road, goes a long ways. Jamie?
A lot of discussion, Clint, on 2 or 4 tires. Travis Mack and Daniel Suarez going back and forth. They think, though, 4 tires will probably be the call here. The 12 of Ryan Blaney said, let's take a big swing at it here. Let's get on the other side of it. Free me up. Get me to turn better so we can win this race. 4 tires there. Regan.
William Byron's crew is pretty good. His race car is also pretty good right now. Just a little free and clean air for him. Said to leave it alone in the 11 of Denny Hamlin. A little bit better from the last run. Just still needs that little bit of late exit grip.
Kyle Larson, 2 tires, 7 positions gained on pit road. Michael McDowell, another 2-tire change, picks up 9 spots.
Yeah, he had contact with Blaney coming out of the pits.
Are they ever going to give Michael McDowell 4 tires, or does he always have to have 2?
Sure hope it turns out better than it did last time.
62 laps to go in St. Louis. 60 laps to go at Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois, in the shadow of the Gateway Arch of St. Louis.
Well, he finally made it to the front.
Yeah, Kyle Larson.
That's amazing.
Did just that. We have a man down on pit road, and we believe it's from Eric Jones' crew. Went down during that stop, being treated by the AMR safety team on pit road at the head end of pit road, pit stall number 2. And we'll give you further details when they become available.
Always a scary situation on these tight pit roads, any pit road. It's not necessarily just because it's tight, it's just a lot going on down there. You have a caution like that with a lot of cars on the lead lap. There's just a lot going on pit road.
So with pit road blocked by the safety equipment, we'll stay under caution here for another lap or two.
See Denny Hamlin in second, Kyle Busch third. They both got out of the pits ahead of William Byron, along with Larson on those 2 tires.
So Tyler Reddick joins Carson Hocevar out of the race, both for exploding brake rotors at the end of the front straightaway. Chase Briscoe 49 laps down. Brad Keselowski 2 laps down with an engine miss, but slugging it out here. And everybody else on the lead lap, 32 lead lap cars as we come down inside the final 60 laps.
Yeah, let's go back to the race off of pit road here, guys. A lot going on. We talked about that, 2 tires, 4 tires. Here come your 2 tires on Larson. The leader, Byron, you can see him back there on 4.
That's a fast stop by the 11.
11. Look how much better he beat Byron's team. That's two 4-tire stops right there. Byron a little bit off. A little bit slow on that 4-tire stop.
So Hamlin in second place now. Let's go back up to the other end of pit road where the safety crews are working, and Jamie.
Yeah, just an update on the injured crew member for Eric Jones's team. It's the front changer, Thomas Hatcher. So he was on the outside of the car. They just told me that the 3 of Austin Dillon cut inside the yellow box and clipped him, hit him actually head on, square, they said. So we're not sure on the injuries right now. He was put in the ambulance, and we'll get further updates for you, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. NASCAR has been working to cut down on teams cutting through the pit box immediately behind them. You'll see the orange lines at the corner of the box, and cars are supposed to stay outside of that orange triangle and not interfere with the stop of the car right behind them.
Looks like they've got a substitute maybe right there, going to fill the in for them.
And that's somebody from Tyler Reddick's crew that they've borrowed now that Reddick is out of the race.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Helping a guy out, right? Always racers help each other when they're down. Down and out. Reddick was out of the race because of his brake rotor issue. That guy come down and filled in. Hats off. That's what racers do. Look after one another, Mikey.
Speaking of Tyler Reddick, here's Regan.
Well, checked and released from the infield car center. Tyler, any warning that it was going to happen going into 1?
Slight. You know, pedal was starting to get a little soft. Not quite soft enough for me to just totally bail out on our 2-tire strategy there, but I was concerned with the amount of laps that we had left that, you know, I was gonna have to start really giving up some entry speed into 1. So I had a bad feeling that could be the outcome if I kept pushing hard. I should have just been on top of it a little bit more. Definitely had some signs of it happening, but obviously when it goes like that, you lose all brakes, so you just try and hang on and find the wall so you don't pound the thing.
Thanks, Tyler.
And he did just that.
Yes.
Hugged the wall.
Yeah, good that he's okay. He will finish 35th today. 2 tires for race leader Kyle Larson, for Austin Cindric in 22nd, and for Michael McDowell. As we get the restart here, McDowell in 5th place on a 2-tire strategy, 57 to go.
Huge jump for Larson. It's what he needs.
3 wide.
Definitely drove it off in the corner hard, but he washed up the racetrack, opened the door up for Hamlin.
He needs a big push from Kyle Busch in the back.
He needed to come off at 2 in the lead. He did not do that, but it's big push might put him back to it. Clear so far. Can he come down? Look at it. Open the door up for Kyle Busch to the outside.
Kyle Busch on 4 tires trying for the lead down into turn 1.
From third, got them both. Great move. Clear. Wow. That was a power move.
Clear.
Washed way up the racetrack.
Not so clear.
Yeah.
Right back on the inside comes Larson battling.
He's your pole sitter. That car's got a ton of speed in it. Talking about Kyle Busch. This 8 car, he gets clear. It's going to be dangerous, hard to handle. Larson's holding pretty strong on those 2 tires. I'm impressed.
First time he's smelt the front of this field all day.
Right. On those pit stops, Denny Hamlin 10.1 seconds. Kyle Busch 10.5 and William Byron 11.1.
Wasn't the time for that, was it, Mike? We talked about the money stop, and it took William from the lead and dropped him back. He's all the way back in 12th after that restart.
Ryan Blaney up 2.
Look at this battle.
Oh, careful. Careful, Bubba. Big block on Kevin Harvick. Run him all the way down to the grass.
There's William Byron 3 wide in the middle of this mess.
He did not do good.
Could not hold the bottom.
The restart has not been pretty for William Byron in that 24 car.
Stuck in mid-pack now, back to 14th.
He's like, man, what happened? Where did my track position go? I was just leading this thing.
Is that the first time Bubba Wallace has cracked the top 10 today? He's up to 10th.
Yes, sir.
What a roll he's been on.
4 top 5s in a row.
He's picked up 2 since the restart, as has Ryan Blaney from 6th to 4th. Busch, Larson, Hamlin all start at the top 3. And how about McDowell? That 2-tire strategy did not work that well early for the 34, but here McDowell restarted 5th, running 5th.
He started all this 2-tire fun.
Yeah.
Got spun out because of it, but man, must be used to those 2 tires and is making it work.
I think it works for a while. Man, I don't know if it's going to hold on.
Not 60 laps, right?
Well, seems about 20 laps.
There's
And
my
it
line
flips
again.
20 laps and it flips a switch. They're going to have to go 60 here.
I think you're hoping for another caution if you're Larson, but you need it to go long enough. All right, you need it to go long enough that everybody's forced to pit.
And when you're in Larson's position with a win in the bank or 2, why not gamble?
I love that.
Yep.
Gives us a lot of fun things to talk about and to watch as Hamlin is running up the track. And I think right now, Blaney's better.
Man, things have fallen to pieces for William Byron. 15th now, for crying out loud, leading right before that caution. He's got to be so frustrated.
Running along right there behind Austin Dillon.
And just in front of Austin Cindric, who also took just 2 tires.
What about Larson? He's holding those other 2 off. Clint thinks they'll go away, but right now things are looking pretty good. What a gamble that is and what results are achieving right now.
Like I said, it's going to work for a while. And then you're going to start, when that car starts slipping and sliding around, it just gets worse, just picks up instantly. It looked to me like it was somewhere around 25 to 30 laps for them other guys.
We saw these 2 battling side by side just a few laps ago. It looked like Harv has rebounded and starting to put a little pressure on Bubba.
William Byron saying on the radio, the car is really loose. I'm not sure what's happened to it. It's fallen to 15th. From the Toyota Cam of Christopher Bell, 12th and 13th, he and Truex. And this is 5th place. Daniel Suarez making inroads on McDowell's 2-tire strategy.
That's impressive for McDowell, though. He's been wrecked today, Clint, but yet is able to hang on to a spot inside the top 10.
Been wrecked by a two-tire situation, right? That's got to be a hard call to make it again. They fired 2 right back on it again, made the same call. This time, it worked.
I think they've done that 3 times to him.
3 times, sorry.
So Michael McDowell at lap 144 took just right side tires, and Larry tells us lap 178 just left side tires on this most recent stop. And we have checked with Austin Dillon's crew, and they say there was no contact between their car and the injured crew member on Eric Jones' team.
There's Harvick. Solid day for the 4 team, trying to grab 10th away from Bubba. And he'll do it.
And I think that's good to point out. And I think the reason, going back to Austin Dillon's team saying that wasn't us, is NASCAR, with the little hash mark we have in these pit boxes, there's a rule now. If you go through that, that's that little corner tab you see in the pit boxes, that's a penalty. And when they didn't get a penalty for that, I was kind of thinking, I don't think it was Austin Dillon. I think whatever happened in their box.
Okay. Three Toyotas fighting for 11th place.
That 20 has been rolling. He's passed a lot of cars today, hasn't he?
In fact, the only Camry in the top 10 right now is Hamlin in 3rd. This 5th place battle just won't quit. Suarez Logano.
Daniel's having a good day. Conversely, Ross is off the pace. Look at that slide by Logano.
Careful. Hold on to it, Joey.
That's going to bring that battle right behind them, directly up on them.
Yeah, that's McDowell and Bowman for 7th behind this pair.
Noah Gregson hard into the wall. Turn 1, extremely hard into the wall with the right side.
Boy, that has been calamity corner today. And Gregson becomes
the left side
victim. Wow. A hit at both ends and the whole left side. He was 24th, and he was also on the 2-tire strategy, we're being told. Drops the window net. Look at, now that's what happens when something happens at the bottom of the racetrack. Look at those skid marks and the heavy impact into the safer barrier.
We'll have to see what happens here, but this is why when you break a brake rotor, you turn to that outside wall like you saw the other 2 do. I'm not saying it was a rotor, but we need to look at the replay.
Now the AMR safety team quickly on the scene. He dropped the window net right away. That's the signal to them that he's okay.
Now the left rear tire was blown out.
Yeah, he just spun around. Spun down to the low side, hard into the wall with the driver's side of the race car. If you saw the left tire down, the way that car turned and spun out way early into the corner like that.
See all the rubber off the left rear? I don't know that there's I don't know that that's it, but they're definitely a flat left rear.
Well, it's more than flat. The axle, it looks like the axle
that's what
shaft
I thought
is broken. The way that left rear wheel was moving around. Now, maybe from impact.
Massive impact. Glad he's okay.
We're hearing it might have been a brake rotor again.
Taking a breather there. That's a hard hit. These cars are very solid on the left sides of these cars. That's a long straightaway. Big run at that wall.
Those black marks looked a whole lot like you'd see at Pocono going into turn 1 if someone would have a tire or brake failure right up into that wall.
And to be so close to the finish and have that happen. What a
We're hearing it was
huge
definitely
hit.
a brake rotor again. Same situation. All right, see, timing was a little bit off there. That car hooked a left right there, spun around, didn't have the option to just turn it to the outside wall because it didn't happen when he was right up against it like it did with the other two.
It blew out later.
And it had to have been a different rotor. Now, obviously, it wasn't the right front that did that.
Well, looking at the way that wheel was moving around back there.
Maybe blew the left rear.
It could have been. There's quite a debris field down there in turn number 1, so NASCAR has issued the red flag and brought the cars to a halt here with 42 laps to go after rookie Noah Gregson's crash. Noah Gregson's car is wrecked and coming down the front straightaway, Clint. This is deja vu all over again.
Exact same thing that happened to the other two, Hocevar and Reddick. Right front rotor blew out getting into the corner. The only difference is he didn't turn right. Watch way back there. You can see clear back here. That's him. Watch it blow out right.
Boom.
Boom, right there, it blew out. But the difference is he turned it off into the corner. He didn't turn it up into that wall like I was telling you Hocevar and Reddick both did. That was heads up driving by them. He paid the price and hit a wall a ton. Brake rotors, man, I'm telling you, that's a product of these long straightaways, these cycles. You're heating them up, you're cooling them off. That's what they don't like. If they want to run at an optimum temperature, it's very hard when those things go up and down on the temperatures like this. Big spike with these long straightaways.
Now, in other forms of racing, they use a carbon rotor, not a steel rotor, as NASCAR still uses with this car. Nothing wrong with a steel rotor. It's preferred in a lot of forms of racing. Some places you prefer the carbon for its heat resistance.
I tell you, just going down into the corner and training yourself to make a right instead of, that's hard to do. That's so impressed with Hocevar and Reddick did that. But when your tire brakes go out, you're turning in the corner, that's a hard decision to make. That's tough.
Yeah, it just unfortunately bit him. A huge hit for Noah Gregson.
So we are still 42 laps to the finish, and what we thought was the money stop will not be. Kyle Larson's two-tire gamble is going to pay off here because he is running second at this caution flag, and we would expect that everybody will come in here for tires under this caution flag.
Now what do you do about 2 or 4, Mike? We know what Michael McDowell's going to do. They're just going to give him 2 no matter what.
That's right.
But what do these lead teams do?
I don't know, Michael. With 42 laps to go, I want 4.
Yeah, well, he probably definitely wants 4 because he's on 2 tires. He's gained that track position. So maybe come in, go head-to-head with these guys and get 4 and put himself in a position to win this race on equal tires.
Now other guys are going to do exactly what you did, take 2 tires and you know, trump you on the track position.
We said it before the race started down on pit road, talked to 2 drivers. They said this is going to be a strategy play. There's going to be strategy that plays into who wins this race, and we're getting ready to see it.
So red flag out for cleanup down in turn 1 from the Noah Gragson incident. Still 31 cars on the lead lap. Brad Keselowski will get the free pass under this caution flag.
Clint, what do you say? We've had a guy that's been running last. Now he's running second, Kyle Larson. He's right there beside Kyle Busch. Let's talk to him. What do you say?
Make sure he's not talking on the radio here. Hey, Kyle Larson, Sporer and the boys up in the booth. You got us?
Second row is a little safer, but I'm definitely hedging towards choosing the front row. I was throwing it out there to get your opinion.
Yeah, Boyer's trying to talk to you. Go ahead, Boyer.
Well, I actually wanted to know what you were going to do, Cliff Daniels. Man, you boys have been all over the place. Fix this thing yet once again. This is 3 races in a row. You guys are getting pretty good at this. Starting at the back, getting this thing figured out. Now you have the track position. Now you got a gamble on your hands. 2 tires or 4.
Yeah, we certainly hate that, you know, we haven't been closer to start some of these races, but huge credit to the team. Just battling through and getting the car fixed up. We've had to throw a lot of adjustments at it, but that's what this IndyCars.com Chevrolet team is made for. Guys have been tough, and obviously Kyle's done a great job with it. I'm sure some of this really wouldn't be possible without Kyle Larson behind the wheel. So, yeah, we'll keep battling.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what you do here. Keep up the good work. Nonetheless, it's been effective. Great job so far.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
We've lost our communication with Larry Mack, but he is still able to text us. And Larry says that with less than 40 laps to go and 32 drivers on the lead lap, track position is so important. You have only 15 green flag laps on your tires. Larry thinks a lot of drivers will just stay out.
Yeah, and that was interesting because, hey, here's Dale.
And there's one of them.
By the way, that's what they did last year.
Yeah.
Remember, old Larry told us to have that stuff put up. It's already back of the holler eating ice cream. Do not even think about coming down pit road.
We know what Larry McReynolds would do. He would stay out. And when we first listened in on Larson, he was talking about choosing the inside or outside. That leads me to believe that they're staying out because he's going to maybe line up behind Kyle Busch on the outside instead of taking the bottom.
You know, I mean, it's all because of the 2-tire stop, but it's all because of the teamwork. You heard Cliff Daniels talk about it, grinding these races out, figuring it out. Even when that team is down and out, somehow, some way, they can get the speed back into their car and get some track position gain, whether it's strategy or that guy behind the wheel passing cars.
You know what I love? The NASCAR racers down there on pit road, they're war rooms where all the engineers back in Charlotte are hanging out. They can't be in touch with the teams on pit road. We got Larry McReynolds. He just texts us and tell us what he thinks.
Well,
don't you think that's what they're doing too?
Pony Express and Carrier Pigeon. You know, without the connectivity of the internet and being able to transmit data back and forth, you're right. It's old school, and we're having to make old school choices here.
You know what else we wouldn't have been able to do today?
Find your phone.
Find your phone.
Now, each of the manufacturers has a war room on site to share data with their teams.
There's Fords right there. I've been in there on the good side of a meeting and the bad. There's Chevrolets right beside it.
How many guys are up in there, guys and girls, working on the plans for these race teams?
Well, usually in you know, when a manufacturer specific one like that, they're overlooking all the things, you know, whether it's the engine data and stuff like that, things that they control. But the correlation between all the teams under that manufacturer, they certainly, you know what's going on and see all that stuff.
Here we go.
Remember, some of that stuff's shared. Some of it's shared to different levels than the others. They're the ones that usually dictate that on how they disperse the funding throughout each team.
Great crowd here. Every seat was sold. They announced a sellout a couple of days ago. And even on a hot day with a lot of sunshine, most of them want to stay and see how this turns out.
Bailey Zimmerman saying, Brothers Osborne saying concert. There's a concert after this race with Dierks Bentley. I mean,
wow,
this track went all out to make sure fans had plenty of things to do.
Let's see what they do. They're getting warmed up. Whether they're going to.
All right, 9 minutes and 21 seconds of red flag. It's the Confluence Music Festival. And Dierks Bentley getting ready to perform as the band is entertained by Noah Gregson's car being loaded up onto the rollback right in front of the stage.
Going to have to get Noah out of the way, or they'll be standing on top of that car.
The only person we know is going to come down pit road is William Byron, because that car dropped like a rock in this last green flag run. Got tremendously loose, and he said on the radio didn't know why.
And a lot of those teams, they might be out there stretching, Clint, to make sure nobody knows what they're going to do. That might all be for show, acting like they're getting ready to come to pit road.
More than likely.
The only thing Byron's going to give up here is his string of top 5 finishes. He has enough wins in the bank that they can certainly come in and give up track position, take on tires, and we'll see how far back to the front he gets. But like to Larry's point, with 31 cars on the lead lap, if you're up in that top 10, you're going to think long and hard about giving up track position here.
Green light is on. Pit road entrance is open. Let's see what they do.
It's like
they're staying out.
First few have stayed out.
No takers yet.
There's one right there.
Alex Bowman, I think.
Bowman.
Yep, 2 cars in front of Byron, then Byron, and about half the cars behind him.
There's Byron, Truex, Wallace, Gibbs, Chastain.
That's what those guys at pitted want to see. Everybody, please come with me, because I'm ahead of you and I'll go out ahead of you. If a lot of the back markers stay out, just cost them track position.
But then you go back to Larson's conversation. All right, second place, still on a deficit on those 2 tires. This caution will change that. But Regan on the 24.
Yeah, Clint, they had to pit right here, the 24. You guys talked about how loose he was earlier. This run, though, he just said it's sideways, and I don't know why.
Martin Truex can win the race off pit road from Alex Bowman.
Back to Larson, though. Like you were saying, if you're Bowman, you pit, right? You show that you're pitting, you're looking in the mirror, man, I hope they come behind me. Larson, he didn't pit on that deficit of 2 tires. He liked that pad. There's a lot of cars behind him that didn't pit.
And he was holding them off. I mean, he was running really good on those 2 tires.
40 laps to go in St. Louis. 39 laps to go. Coming to the choose, cleaning up the 7th caution of the day. Kyle Busch going to stay outside, and Larson will go to the inside on the front row. Jamie.
And Noah Gragson checked and released now, and that was a big hit. No, any indication what happened and when?
Yeah, it was a hard-ass hit for sure. Not really. I went and hit the brakes into one, and then the car sit down and blew the left front brake rotor, I think, out of it. And then at that point, you're like, shit, what do I do? So tried to hook it through the infield. I've seen guys do it at Pocono. Obviously, once I went through the infield, I'm like, that's the wrong thing to do, but it's that or go head on into the fence. So tried to scrub a little bit of speed, but overall, just been a tough year. Thanks to Maury Gallagher and Jimmy Johnson and Mike Beam, everybody who's a part of this Legacy Motor Club team, Sunseeker, it's just been tough on us, and thought we were going to have a decent day and ran on the lead lap the whole day, just nothing to show for it now. So going to probably one of my favorite places next week, Sonoma, and then I've been counting down the days till this off season. It'll be good to relax and regroup, but everyone's working hard. Thanks to everyone back at the shop, and definitely a hard ass hit.
Noah Gragson out of the race with 42 to go. All right, there you see the first car on new tires. Martin Truex in 17th place as we go back to green.
That's not what Larson wants, to get put 3 wide. He's able to dive in the corner and keep Blaney behind him. Now he's able to squeeze up ahead of Hamlin. Great corner for Kyle Larson.
Yep. A lot of aggression coming, blocks everywhere, all the way through the field. Desperation is setting in.
Suarez to the inside, McDowell way up on the outside. Well, Kyle Busch showing why he chose the outside for that restart, because he had a great run off the corner to cement that lead.
Yeah, they've taken the outside on every. Oh, got a spin. We're going to have a caution.
Christopher Bell's around.
And that's caution flag number 8.
And if you got 4 tires just then, that's what you wanted to hear. Grab a couple of spots early, get a caution.
That's back around that, first cars on 4 tires.
Bell was running in 11th place.
Oh, loose on the bottom was Cindric, and he got into Bell, and around Bell went.
Got loose once, caught it, got loose twice, and bounced off of him hard enough it turned him around. That was ahead of that 4-tire conversation, but just desperation setting in, right?
But whipping right around him when this happens is Martin Truex, who gained some ground.
There's the contact from Cindric.
Yeah, I can't really see much there, but definitely I saw it hit once, hit twice, and turned him around. That's unfortunate. Christopher Bell has passed a lot of cars today. Be frustrated with this.
Oh.
Hard hit. Enough to get him around. Trying to stay off of him, right? If you're Austin Cindric, that's not an on-purpose thing. That's just 2 guys going hard into the corner. You get loose, and once you do, the only way to correct it's turning up the hill. Unfortunately, Christopher Bell was there.
And this will put Mr. 500, Brad Keselowski, making his 500th career start today, back on the lead lap. He gets the free pass.
Wow.
His motor's struggling.
But he is gritting it out.
That's why you don't give up.
Right.
Larson's got to do it all over again. I don't think that was extremely aggressive driving by Kyle Larson to get that second position. I don't know that he can do it again.
All these cycles on the tires, your 2-tire deficit kind of goes away a little bit. Starts to match up a little bit.
I talked about a couple laps and get a caution for those guys that got tires. Martin Truex got 2 tires, and he's all the way up to the 11th place right now. So he did a nice job on that restart. You saw him whipping around the outside of Christopher Bell when that went down. He's putting himself in a pretty good position here with those fresher tires.
You got to pounce on him early, though. when these cars are balled up, I mean, you're talking about gaining a lot of spots still to get up into a winning strategy here, and it all is going to happen early on the start.
So you see Truex there in 11th with fresh tires. Christopher Bell now, Bowman, Byron, Wallace. See how many spots they can gain in these final 34 laps.
Byron from 18th with those 4 tires. We'll see where he goes.
Looking back from Ty Gibbs, Corey LaJoie,
24th.
It's about as good as it's been, isn't it?
Restarted 30th, so there's a big gain right there. One of the cars that stopped for tires.
I'm impressed with Michael McDowell holding strong, holding steady to what their game plan was. 2 tires, 2 tires, 2 tires.
Yep.
That car's, man, he's overcome a lot. Running 5th. It's a great day for them.
McDowell with a lot of road racing experience. So this situation today where the way they're driving with all the up and down shifting, it's like a road course with all left turns, probably sits right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. And Austin Cindric, another guy with a lot of road racing experience. He's currently in the top 10. And Daniel Suarez won our road race out in Sonoma a year ago. Can't wait to get out there. Man, that's such a great event.
Still impressed with Stenhouse Jr. Been in the top 10 all day long. Again, goes back to Coke 600 last week. Same exact scenario.
And he's the best car with fresher tires.
We have turned the shortest race of the year into about the longest race of the year.
We are racing into the evening here in the Midwest. I've had a great time, man. Thanks for having me up here with you guys.
Always fun with you, bud.
An update on Thomas Hatcher, the front tire changer for Eric Jones, who was injured on pit road. We looked at video. There was no contact from the number 3 car, but as he came around the front of the car, he and the tire carrier got tangled up as the car slid to a stop. He ended up on the ground, was helped to a stretcher. The team says he is awake and alert and has been transported to a local hospital for further observation and treatment.
That is such great news. So scary down there on pit road when something goes wrong. I know the one that wants to hear that news the most is Eric Jones, just knowing his comrade is okay.
And as we showed earlier, Tyler Reddick's front tire changer has come over to help out with Reddick out of the race.
Now watch row 6.
2. Watch 2.
Watch
that. Blaney was looking to the inside of Larson the last restart. You better watch 2 before you worry about 6.
We need to watch a lot of places because Martin Truex Jr. is going to be coming.
Watch Kyle Busch. If that car will stick going in, he's going to drive off the corner into the sunset.
That's what that car's been doing best all weekend long. He can drive deeper into the corner than anyone.
Well, we're about to find out. It'll be 31 laps to go when they come back. Pace car hits pit road. Into the Geico restart zone. And here we go.
See that hand out the window by Kyle? He's saying, come on, buddy. Give me a push to Denny Hamlin.
Two by two, about 10 rows deep.
Larson eases ahead into the corner. Can he wrap it and come out ahead of Busch?
No, Busch has the drive off.
So close here. Kyle can get in the corner so hard. He did that in qualifying. That's what put him on the pole. It's going to clear him off at 2.
4th is the battle. Logano to the inside of Hamlin.
That's so frustrating when you're there, but you just can't quite close the deal. These guys are driving 100 100% plus right now.
Hamlin clears Logano. That's 4th place.
Got one slow on the front straightaway.
Yep, it's going to call him. That's Greg Galding. Can he get to the inside and out of harm's way? Yes, he's off the track.
He got down. He is definitely off the racetrack. We're still green so far.
Tell you who don't want to see.
But Galding has come to a halt. Not sure they're going to be able to leave him there. Caution waves.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Here we go again.
Another caution, 28 to go.
And I'm telling you, Clint, with each caution and each restart, the intensity is just going to continue to ratchet up.
Well, I'm telling you, with each caution, each restart, it helps Larson in those 2 tires. All these cycles on tires washes that deficit out the window for him.
There's Greg Galding's car. Chase Briscoe fans will be happy to know he just got 1 of his 49 laps back.
Well, that's a start, isn't it?
Free pass. He had something go through the radiator, apparently, back when Carson Hocevar lost a brake rotor, and Briscoe spent laps, many laps, well, 49 of them, in the garage making repairs.
Update on Willie B. He's up to 13th with those 4 fresh tires.
And they were 4 wide back there, Michael. It was, wow.
Oh, 4 wide, 3 wide. I saw a wreck twice in the 3 that just didn't happen.
Right.
Dive bombs.
That's what is going to happen.
That's going to, yes.
In fact, there's a lot of disagreement there. They're still not single file under caution. There's 4 cars that all think they're in about 21st place. NASCAR scoring will sort that out.
I can't get over this 5 car.
He was almost clear of Busch, just so close off of 4.
And in our first stage, he was so close to going a lap down. He was running about last.
That's right.
Been there
and look at him. It's amazing.
All right, here again, laps on the tires, and that is pretty much the key statistic here. There's William Byron with just 14 laps. Same for Martin Truex, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, A.J. Allmendinger. But as you say, every restart lessens that advantage. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch is saying, how many more times do I have to do this?
And he's done it very, very effectively each time. And you don't expect anything else out of Kyle Busch. When he made that qualifying lap yesterday, Clint, he was so happy with the performance of his car and the job that he did. He just drove it in deeper than everyone else, and he's doing the same thing now and making it work.
But I see patience. You know, roles reverse. Think about this race last year with him and Logano. It was a shootout after shootout, just like we're seeing right here today, finishing this race off. And Logano was the one that had the patience. Busch beat him on that restart. Logano was patient, went back up and passed him. That's what I see out of Kyle Busch today.
But that fella sitting on the pit wall after winning the pole was the happiest Kyle Busch I've seen in a long time.
I loved it.
And all of that carries over to knowing he's got the car to beat here.
And he knows he has the upper advantage. Right. Kyle Busch knows what's going on around him. He knows that Larson's on 2 tires and knows that he has the advantage. That doesn't mean he knows if that 5 car gets in front of him, he can pass him.
And plus, he's got to know that 5 car's got to keep that thing straight up under him. We know how easy it is to slip up, just like Austin Cindric just did.
But the thing I love about the line that Kyle Busch is able to run, he leaves plenty of room for him to do that. Doesn't crowd it down on his door, gives Kyle Larson plenty of room. He's able to keep the speed up there and beat him off of 2. He's beat him off of 2 every time so far.
Oh, look at the baby. He wants the baby to be on TV.
Well, got his wish.
Hi, baby.
Running out of hours on this one. Yeah, look. Fix that. All right.
Hi, buddy. That's fun. Look, Dad. We're on TV.
Hey, Dad was bummed out too, and he fixed that. I love it. Awesome.
That is so fun.
LaJoie's on pit road.
Yeah, along with Brad Keselowski and Ty Dillon. They were some of those cars toward the back of the lead lap that were racing 3 and 4 wide. There might have been a bit of contact there to kind of sort out, make sure there wasn't a tire rub.
I saw Gibbs have trouble off at 2. I don't know if he got in anybody or what happened, but he really fell back, lost 5 or 6, 7 spots, just wham off at 2. So that doesn't surprise me to see Gibbs on pit road. Maybe LaJoie had the same problem. I saw right rear mark up on the right rear of his car.
Family day at the races.
You know, that's something those kids will think about for a long time to come. Being on TV, see their smiles.
So if we choose here, the restart will come with 23 to go.
In order to beat Kyle Busch, Blaney, Hamlin, they're going to have to get rid of Larson first. And he's taking the bottom again. Hamlin down there with him.
Do you think that's the right call? I mean, you know, it's Kyle Busch going to be hard to beat whether you start next to him or behind him. It's probably a better shot next to him, right?
Well, 2 times in a row he's made it work. He's stuck in the 2nd position, and that's all he could really. And he had a chance to grab the lead so close, as you called it, Clint.
Oh, that's definitely the right call. He's got a different guy behind him, though. Rolls reverse behind him in the mirror. Let's see if Denny Hamlin will try to put him 3 wide getting into the corner.
And you got to get
the key is to get a good jump.
You got to get a good launch. That's what I was going to say, because they will take you 3 wide at this point in the race. Cup guys kind of got some etiquette early in the race where they don't do that as much. Now all bets are off.
Pay window. Say it with me.
Yeah,
pay
you
window.
like the pay window, don't you? It is open.
All right, pace car's got to run and hide here. We're going to restart with 23 laps to go. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson on the front row. Keep an eye on Truex coming from 9th because he's still the first car up there on the fresher 4 tires.
At this point, you're looking in that left rear, or you're looking in that left side mirror. You're looking for dive bombs. Dive bomb city, here we come.
There's that hand for
green flag.
Busch out the window. I'm going.
Denny got in the back of Hamlin on the inside. There's the push. There's the dive bomb. Austin Dillon on the inside of Harvick, you saw. Side by side, still in the front. McDowell in trouble.
Look at Truex. He's all up in the middle of this mess.
A lot of 3 wide here in the backstretch.
There's Truex. Look at him pushing Suarez down the back, making ground doing so.
8th place, 3 wide into the corner. Wallace up top. McDowell meet in the sandwich. On the bottom comes Harvick.
Comes Bubba Wallace on that outside.
Look at the move by Denny. Got to run on Blaney.
There it is. Austin Dillon into, oh, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s in the wall.
And the caution waves for the 10th time today.
Intensity, dive bombs. That's all a part of the end of these races.
And no surprise, that racing from mid-pack on back was so intense. Look at the 3 wide top of your screen and follow that down to turn 1.
See Austin Dillon on your inside.
Does he get
clipped? Right's reared. He got clipped to the right rear.
Cindric
turned him right up into Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Desperation setting in. 3 wide. You're seeing it all over the place, all the way through the pack.
And you said it. Darn for Ricky. I mean,
yeah.
Another great run for him, and
it's over. They were all battling for 12th place.
You see, they got a run on him on the inside.
Ooh. And he had plenty of room to the right, just trying to squeeze in there.
That's too bad.
William Byron.
That's a DNF for him. That right front's broke. What a frustrating ending to a great solid day.
Yeah, Stenhouse was top 10 much of the day, unofficially up as high as 7th place.
I said the name William Byron. He's right in the middle of that mess. Got through it. He's up to 11th on those new tires. And Truex had a lot of steam. If we could run the rest of this race green, you might hear from those guys.
Byron was just ahead of this.
Austin Dillon just turns right up off the nose of Cindric, right into Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s lap. It was bound to happen. We saw it in a 1 right there, but I mean, it was off of 2, into 3, off of 4.
All right, Cindric continues, and Dillon has made it around to pit road. Stenhouse will go on the hook.
Well, from our angle of that, Cindric was way down the track where Dillon was, and there was room to his right. But
Well,
he could have
Dillon
just been trying to angle into the corner. And
that's right. Dillon needs to get an angle into the corner as well, and I feel like came up just a pinch to try to get his angle right. I don't think there was nothing egregious there on Cindric's part. He didn't hook him on purpose.
See up off the corner.
You see Dillon actually brush the front or the rear bumper of Byron, moves way down,
and maybe starts to
tries to come up.
Oh,
a little.
He didn't have a.
It wasn't. That's just a bad deal.
Yeah, you can't blame any part of that on Austin Dillon.
Or really Cindric.
Well, if you're going to pick one.
They were coming on him pretty hard on the inside. I mean, or excuse me, on the outside, both of them. You know, every now and then you don't have to pick it. It's racing. You know,
that was racing.
That does happen.
Yeah, that was racing.
I want to thank now Stenhouse climbing out of his car. And the 3 of Austin Dillon is going to be held 2 laps because of an infraction on the DVP, damaged vehicle policy clock. Stenhouse has climbed out.
Here comes some more tires, Clint.
Yep. And a big thank you to our NASCAR on Fox crew. Our cameramen working on little rest after a long Monday in Charlotte, which, as Nelson Hastings told me, is a really tough teardown. And this racetrack is a really tough setup. And these fellows, they don't have to just get you the pictures. They have to lug all that gear into position and then tear it down and pack it away so it can all go to Sonoma. And with the internet connectivity that issues that we've had today, the track and the teams have had, thanks to all of our replay operators, we have limited capability there, and they've given you great pictures and replays of what has unfolded here through 10 caution flags. So they're trying to get Ricky Stenhouse's car hooked up and removed from turn 1, then we'll shoot it out to the finish here in St. Louis. Well, what do you do during the red flag? Take a little nap, because they are repairing the turn 1 safer barrier, which has really had a workout today. First Carson Hocevar, then Tyler Reddick, then Noah Gregson, all into the turn 1 wall, and now Ricky Stenhouse and Austin Dillon. So NASCAR and track officials making repairs there to make sure that that safety system is intact.
So you remember, these safer barriers are steel. That's a steel wall. They're square steel tubing. And it looks like the seam broke right there where they hit it and broke that seam apart. So welder on standby right behind him, got the hood on already. Have it fixed up in no time.
So the field has been stopped on the back straightaway under the red flag. Foam blocks there separating the steel part of the safer barrier from the concrete wall, and track officials are bringing bottles of water to the drivers as they wait. Regan?
Well, Mike Randall Burnett has gotten his driver Kyle Busch into position today. You guys started on the pole. The car's been fast all day long. Getting ready to do the 5th restart here. Can you guys hold them off for a couple more if you need to?
Yeah, we've had a really fast 3-Chi Chevy Camaro today. Kyle's done a great job. Had good speed all weekend, so these restarts are getting to be a little much, but you know, it's part of it. We'll see what happens here. Got another 15 laps to go by the time we take the green, so feel good about our chances. We've got a real good car and the best driver in the business in the thing, so we'll see what happens.
You're a local guy from 20 minutes away from here. I know you got a lot of friends, family. Your mom at the racetrack today. How nice is it to have your car out in front of all your hometown crowd?
Well, it certainly means a lot. You know, grew up racing around here at this track. You know, even here before it was oval track. So, be really cool and really special to win here in front of my hometown, and hopefully we can hold them off.
Thanks, Randall. Jamie?
And Jonathan Hassler brought another strong race car for Ryan Blaney after the big win in the Coke 600 last Monday. Now it's been a good day running up front all day long, but you guys sit 4th. How do you feel like you stack up to the competition around you here for the shootout to the end?
Yeah, our car, like you said, has been strong all day. I feel like maybe we've lost a little bit in the last couple runs, but you know, Ryan's been able to do a really good job on each of these restarts and make some positions. So definitely wouldn't count us out of it at this point.
So it's been a challenge for all these teams up and down pit road with the Wi-Fi going out. What's it been like for your team and just handwriting notes and not being able to communicate?
Yeah, fortunately we got a lot of experience on the 12 team and you know, a lot of guys that have been through, you know, scenarios like this before. So everybody just kind of changes their procedure a little bit, takes some hand notes, watches the you know, the boards here at the track and improvises and, you know, do the best we can.
I know you've been waiting a long time to get to victory lane. What was the moment like to finally get there on Monday?
It was great. You know, like I said, it was a big relief. I know this team has been capable. We've been, you know, in position a lot of times. So it was nice to just finally get the job done.
All right, well, congratulations, and we'll see if he can go 2 for 2, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. They're getting ready to fire engines now as they're just about done down in turn 1. You know, we talk all year about the Coca-Cola 600 being stock car racing's longest night, but the green flag here first flew 5 hours and 10 minutes ago.
We've been through a lot. What time's the sunset around here, Boyer?
About 8:30 or so.
Plenty of lights at this track.
Fun racing into the evening.
8:21 is sunset officially, so not quite half an hour away.
Wasn't too far off.
No, it's very good.
For a guess.
We went on a little boat ride till dark the other day, didn't we?
Sure did.
Kyle Larson, can he do it again?
He got a little bit better jump than he did last time. He got you know, jacked up a little bit from the behind with Hamlin on his bumper right on the initial fire. I was thinking it was going to spin his tires and stack that line up. They got going, but it didn't get the jump on the 8 near as good as he did the time before.
So the only cars that stopped under this caution were Eric Almirola, BJ McLeod, and Austin Dillon, who was involved in the crash. So they'll have new tires, but Dillon is being scored 1 lap down, and Almirola and McLeod will be 28th and 29th when we restart. So that means that the first 7 drivers, back to Kevin Harvick, were last on pit road at lap 178. Martin Truex's tires are 22 laps fresher than that, as are Bubba Wallace's and William Byron's.
Bubba's back in the top 10 after making that pit stop. Watch him. The 23 car has shown a lot of pace lately. He's in a good spot.
McDowell got moved up the racetrack in that 3-wide scenario on them old tires, the 2 tires with him, he was in trouble. That caution saved him.
He scored in 9th. So we'll try it one more time, and we'll probably restart with about 15 laps to go.
This is where that game of chicken after these long straightaways comes back into play. Dive bombs.
You talk about a launch, but equally important in this game at this point is the launch the guy behind you gets. You need that big push as well.
Yeah, again, going back to that last one, that's where that bottom lane deteriorated a little bit because of that connection. They hit too hard right there and kind of jacked the 5 car up a little bit, and he never was able to get the launch door to door with Kyle Busch on his outside.
So if you're Denny Hamlin or Ryan Blaney, and probably going to restart here in the 2nd row, what are you thinking you need to do differently to have a shot at 1st or 2nd place?
Well, let me go back to that. First of all, went right back to roles reverse. Blaney's on the bumper of the 5 on the inside, 11 on the outside of Busch. That's the way when Larson got the best jump, it was off the bumper of the 12 car.
Okay.
So that's the play right now. Blaney, if you're 3rd place, try to get a little bit of gap maybe in there. Try to create something where you can get to the inside of him and create that dive bomb. I mean, desperation time. You're out of options.
And look there on row 4 and 5 on the bottom. Both those cars have fresher tires than the rest. Can they get the shove that they need to make some momentum and get up there and be a factor? There you see Truex, my one to watch, shaking his tires in on the back straightaway.
Truex and Bubba Wallace have those fresher tires, as does Alex Bowman and A.J. Allmendinger.
That 34 car is a great story. What persistence, what perseverance. I mean, he was wrecked early, still hanging around the top 10.
And taking 2 tires on each of the last 3 stops.
Hear them revving them engines, getting ready to go.
So all these caution laps mean that the group out front on older tires, this is what they want. Less laps to run to get to the flag. It'll be 15 to go. Back under green.
Big push by Hamlin on the Busch on the outside.
Larson does not want to lose that 2nd position. He's going to be able to slide up in front of Denny.
Loose, sorry. Logano got to the outside of Blaney.
Blaney on the bottom for 4th with Logano. Now, if you're looking for the CONCACAF Champions League final 2nd leg between the Los Angeles Football Club USA and Club Leon Mexico, it is currently starting over on FS2 and on the Fox Sports app. It will switch back to FS1 after the conclusion of this race with 14 laps to go.
This is 14 laps you don't want to miss.
Michael McDowell, middle of the field, backing everybody up. And trying to come back after it on the outside.
Home game for crew chief Randall Burnett. Intensely
Look
watching
at this. Just a pile of cars all over 3 wide. There were 4 wide off of 4. Still getting it sorted out somehow.
And Justin Haley was part of that log jam right there, backing up toward traffic. Now he gets away on the bottom. Jones follows him. LaJoie to the outside on Bell, and they're 3 wide right behind him with Ty Gibbs on the inside. Wow.
Wow is right. Look at that beat up number 1 car in the middle of that mess.
Ross Chastain now 24th and fighting hard.
Ty Dillon peeking into the action there in that 77.
Front 14 are single file, so we're watching a great race here from midfield on back. Bell to the bottom now. 3 wide. Burton on the outside. Jones in the middle. And this is for 19th.
The spotters are on the roof thinking, get it sorted out, boys. We need to finish this baby off.
They are slowly but surely. Oh, that's a contact from the 43. Eric Jones getting into Harrison Burton. You see that left front tire damage or fender damage into the tire.
Austin Dillon has gone to the garage. Here's William Byron trying to work his way back up through. He has among the freshest tires out there. He's in 10th. Bubba Wallace got tires at the same time as Byron, stays side by side with him.
There's Truex down on the bottom trying to do away with Michael McDowell for that 8th spot.
10 to go, boys.
McDowell hanging tough.
I really can't believe how fast this front bunch got singled out. I mean, it's single file all the way back to, what, 8th, 9th place.
Right where we are on the right side of your screen. McDowell in 8th, Truex underneath. With 4 fresh tires, as have Byron and Wallace right behind him. Inside of 10 laps to go.
Look at McDowell trying to size up Kevin Harvick.
Trying to hold on to this top 10 run that they've created for themselves in this 2-tire strategy.
Truex can't wait, sends it down to the bottom.
Look how
McDowell riding the high side, and Harvick right in amongst them.
That 19 car just shot through the center of that corner, didn't he?
Now look how Harvick had to lift there at the wall. Both of them got around him, maybe even Byron. That was a great save there by McDowell that helped him. Can he hold on to this top 10?
What a comeback for Byron. After falling out of the top 15, getting tires, working his way back up through into the top 10.
Still single file up front.
Front group single file. 7 to go.
Pretty
Kyle
evenly
Busch.
spread out. Just what you want to see if you're Kyle Busch and company. Randall Burnett on that box. He didn't like all them restarts. This is exactly the view you want to see your race car out there leading this field.
Harvick way up the track as you see him off turn 2 there.
And Byron with Kevin Harvick fighting hard for 9th place here.
Mike McDowell says, come on, Kevin, give me that push.
Well, he's giving him the bottom. That's what I like about McDowell. Don't let him get to your outside. You do that, you're in trouble. You get trapped on that bottom. Your tires will wear out. You won't be able to hold that arc. Give him that inside and try to pinch him off on the exit. Good strategy there. So far, it's working.
And McDowell's car working just fine up top.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yep. He's got both of them in a bad spot. Byron can't get anything done because of the exit. He pinches off. Don't let this Harvick to your outside, though.
Wow.
That was close.
They're battling.
That's a good job. Him and Tabata are working well together. Still pretty evenly spread out all the way through the top 5. Oh, Bubba Wallace in a wall. Turns 1 and 2. Can this possibly be another brake rotor issue?
Wallace was 11th. He was in that battle right behind Byron there at the moment, and this will be the 11th caution flag. And it comes with just 5 laps to go.
His teammate had issues earlier. Team car. See if that's the case here for Bubba. You can just see the disappointment on Randall Burnett's face right there. How close they were to taking the checker flag.
Even Cliff Daniels, he's like, after the day we've had, I would so take a second place. Let's see what happens here. It looks like the same thing, guys. See it start wobbling. See the brake rotor pieces and parts flying across the racetrack. Same exact thing. He learned his lesson. He watched all of those replays. Turned that wheel to the outside, got into the wall early. There you see a good shot right through that wheel. No brake rotor on it.
4 races in a row. Top 5 for Bubba.
See, that's like a dust shield on the back of the rotor. You see that thing that looks like a rotor, that's not the rotor.
Yeah, right at the top of the wheel, you see the break between where the rotor was and where it is no more.
And now that rotor's on the front straightaway, much of it.
Yeah, that right there, that's the rotor. See it broke right there?
Yep.
That's what's left of it. Everything else came out from underneath of it. Thanks, guys. Good shot.
AMR safety team on the front straightaway looking for
Oh, there's a lot of
debris,
it.
and there's a lot of it.
That was Casey. That was the fellow that retrieved your phone. Now he's retrieving brake rotor parts.
They've had a heck of a day, haven't they?
He's had a busy day.
Well, what you got to be careful for, don't run over these brake parts. All these spotters on that roof, you tell me, do you see anything on this racetrack?
Alex Bowman was right behind Bubba when that went down, so hopefully he avoided the debris.
So of the cars that lost brake rotors today, Hocevar was a Chevy, Reddick a Toyota, Noah Gregson a Chevy, and now Bubba Wallace another Toyota.
But more importantly, that's both 2311 cars.
Yep.
Such a great day going for, again, for Bubba.
Five laps away from what could have been a top 10 finish.
Yeah, would have been, I think.
And it breaks his string of top 5s at 3. Top 5 finishes.
4 with the All-Star race.
Yes, yeah.
That was a great run in the All-Star race.
Runner
for that
up
team.
there, and Jamie.
Yeah, I was interested after we saw Noah Gregson lose a brake rotor there and get into the wall. I asked his crew chief, Luke Lambert, what's going on, why we're seeing these failures today. And he said, well, this particular track has such long straightaways that it cools down the brake rotors and then it heats up again in the corners, and it's the cycles that is wearing them out. Whereas on a short track, they just stay hot the whole time and they don't typically cycle like we're seeing today.
Kind of like your mom tells you in the wintertime. You stay inside and it's hot, you go out and it's cold, you come in and it's hot, you go out and it's cold, you're sick.
Well, it's, you know, that's the thing. I mean, I was saying that earlier. They want to run at an optimum temperature. It's like taking a glass out of your dishwasher and putting it in cold water. I mean, it's going to break. They're brittle. They're extremely strong until you change that temperature so fast. They don't like that.
All right, Michael, it wasn't a good analogy, but...
Well, it was an analogy. I got it.
Well, here's one that Kyle Busch is not going to want to hear. 6 prior races this season have ended in overtime. The leader at the scheduled distance won only 1 of those 6.
Whoa. Don't tell Randall.
No.
He's got enough issues right now as it is.
But on every restart over these last 4 or 5 cautions, he has prevailed. Kyle Busch has gotten out with the lead.
You know, look at Brad Keselowski. Down or not, right off the bat, loses a cylinder. Something wrong with the engine in that thing. This is why you never give up in any kind of sport, anything in life. They were dead last, 36. Now all of a sudden everybody's having trouble running 27th. Save some points here. It sucks that it's that way. It's terrible to ride around there and very frustrating when you have a promising weekend ahead of you, but that's why you never give up. At the end of this season, just might be the difference maker.
So Bubba Wallace stopped on pit road. They're going to have to pick him up with the hook and clear pit road before we can restart. So likely we will be going to overtime.
Well, just like Kyle Busch, you saw Randall Burnett, you saw Cliff Daniels on the top of the 5 box. They're nervous, everything. How about poor Michael McDowell, Mikey? Back there holding these guys off. Can he hold them off and fend off for a top 10?
This has been the drive of his year, I think, with all he's been able to accomplish. Remember, he was backed into the wall early.
There are the contending crew chiefs, both in the Chevrolet camp, Randall Burnett, Cliff Daniels.
We're going to see Hamlin back on the inside behind Larson again. Blaney on the outside. Will this Hamlin, will he?
How you know that?
Look at running order.
I mean, but he might go.
Think he will?
He might.
Doubt it.
We'll see.
If I'm him, I like the fact that I almost got underneath Larson. I mean, if you're here to win the race, I don't think you're going to do it on that outside.
All right, so now if you're 5th or 6th, if you're Logano or Suarez, what can you do differently now?
Wait and see if one of those guys wreck each other and hit it to you, put it in your lap.
Or you could use the dive bomb. If you get enough momentum, you can say, I'm going in there making it 3 wide and see what happens.
Not from that far back, though. You need something to materialize in front of you, in my opinion.
5 times Kyle and Kyle have finished 1-2.
Which one won?
Kyle.
Did he?
Busch, all 5 times.
That's good TV, Mike. I would have guessed Kyle.
It's a good guess.
Time to choose it up. Where will Denny go? Who is he going to push?
Steve. Looks like he's going to go to the outside.
Yeah.
to no surprise.
Well, I was wrong.
Yeah. Whoa, Hamlin to the outside this time. Blaney to the inside.
Yeah.
Switching it up.
There's McDowell to the bottom. Truex up top with those fresher tires. He's just not able to get there. Too hard to pass unless you bump him.
I mean, if you're Hamlin going to that outside, I mean, I think the key to that is if the 5 slips up again, which by the way he did last time. He got loose into the corner and loose up off, slipped up a little bit on the inside. Maybe you can make that pass to the 5, but I just don't see that opportunity coming to the 8. Whereas that 12, oh, by the way, if he dive bombs a 5, now what's going to happen? They're both coming up into your lane.
But if Busch clears Larson, there's an opportunity for Hamlin to follow him through on the outside and try to dive bomb his former teammate for the win.
That's where you make your money, right? With these calls and things like that. By the way, that's where the war rooms come into play. They know the math on this. They know where the odds are and where to pick on there, and that's something that they don't have to their advantage right now. If that 12 car dive bombs the 5, you're 3 wide on the outside.
All right, overtime sponsored by Credit One Bank. Green, white checker. We hope.
Great jump by Kyle Busch.
And he goes dead to the bottom.
Big jump by Denny Hamlin, too. He's going to get Kyle Larson. That was a good move. Good call.
Hamlin's in position to steal this one. 3 wide into turn 3. How's that going to work out?
Oh,
Truex had to lift.
Well, Blaney pinched him off pretty hard on the entrance, holding him down tight on the exit, too.
Coming to the white flag. Next flag will end the race. Kyle Busch well out front. The fight's for second.
Logano looking to the inside of Larson.
And last year's winner is going to get there.
Samantha, it's official, so all he's got to do is bring it around here. Battle right there for third.
Logano inside Larson, but off turn 4, Kyle Busch will get his 63rd career victory in the NASCAR Cup Series.
How about little Brexton in there?
How about that home game for the crew chief?
That Randall Burnett's a good man. Smart. I like hanging out with him at Millbridge. This is a good team. Lethal combination between him and that driver behind the wheel, Kyle Busch.
It took 5 restarts over the last 40+ laps here for Kyle Busch to prevail. 9th on the all-time win list. He won at Talladega in April, so this is his 3rd victory this season, tied for the most with William Byron. And it's the 11th season in his Cup career he's had at least 3 victories. For Richard Childress Racing, career win number 116.
It's fun to see RCR back. Fun to see RC in victory lane. Nobody celebrates a win better than Richard Childress. This group's a lot of fun. Had a lot of good years over there. Neat to see them back on top with such a good driver behind the wheel.
This is the 25th different Cup Series track that Kyle Busch has driven into victory lane. That puts him 10th on that all-time list. And it's the 9th time that he's won from the pole.
When you talk about
how to burn out.
When you talk about winning and statistics, there's a lot that are associated with Kyle Busch.
Yes.
Might even get a bow here, boys.
And a popular win for this Midwestern crowd. There's the family.
Here comes that bow, I bet, Clint.
Pole sitter, fastest car, just won the race, boys. Good job, Kyle Busch. Got in the corner so hard, so deep, every single corner, every lap. That was a difference maker, especially on them restarts.
2 nights ago at a local track, he and son Brexton both won their respective short track races. Well, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson did not make it easy for Kyle Busch. 5 late restarts get him the win. Regan Smith.
Kyle Busch starts from the pole. Had a lot of work in the middle to get there, Kyle, but you complete the perfect weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. That was pretty awesome. Man, to sit on the pole, lead a lot of laps, and have my guys do such a great job today was pretty phenomenal for us. Great for RCR. Just win, baby. So thanks to Team Chevy. Appreciate 3Chi. Don't forget, hey, guess what? The number 8 special. Free chicken tenders at Cheddar's on Monday. Hey, so all the fans go out and celebrate with us. We're going to have a great time with this one. This one's pretty cool.
Kyle Busch, your winner at Gateway.
Busch beats Denny Hamlin by half a second with Joey Logano 3rd, Kyle Larson and Martin Truex the top 5. We are headed to Sonoma for our final NASCAR on Fox race of the season. We'll see you in Sonoma. Thanks for watching. Now let's go to the CONCACAF Champions League final 2nd leg. Next on FS1.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.